I got a copy here.
Okay. Oh, you got a copy?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sequoia High School in the War Lodge for tonight's varsity basketball contest between the visiting Gladiators of Johns Creek and your Sequoia Chiefs. Before the introduction of tonight's starting lineups, we ask that at this time you please rise for the raising of the colors and the national anthem to be performed by the Sequoia Band of Chiefs. Tonight, commanding the Sequoia Air Force Junior ROTC is Cadet Chase Morris. Marching onto the court is the Junior ROTC Color Guard. Commanding the Color Guard and carrying the American flag is Cadet Mason Waller. Carrying the Georgia flag is Cadet Jacob Bogle. Protecting the flags as rival bearers are Cadets Sierra Reyes and Lacey Sherman. It is customary to remove your hat and place your right hand over your heart during the playing of the national anthem. Thank you for your participation and patriotism.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the War Lodge here at Sequoia High School. I am Chase Schaefer, and joining me in the booth tonight is WLJA's Will Cooper, filling in for Will Hogendijk. Will, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Not bad, not bad. An exciting Region 7 6A matchup here tonight between the Sequoia Lady Chiefs and the Johns Creek Lady Gladiators.
First, we'll introduce the starting lineup for the visiting Johns Creek Gladiators.
So it looks like starting for the Gladiators tonight, we have Evelina Devalacao, Paris Miller, Audrey Cuebla, Nyla Nuri, Kennedy Williams, and Abby Roadhurst. Players to watch tonight are going to be Paris Miller. Paris Miller for Johns Creek. According to, depending on which site you ask, a top 10 player in the country, according to Blue Star Basketball at least, with multiple SEC offers. Got offers to Bama, Ole Miss, Auburn, and already starting to gain some attention from the SEC powerhouse, Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think that's what you see really with Johns Creek in this lineup here. Not a very tall player, 5'10", somewhere in the 5'9" area, but 4 to 4.5 stars depending on where you look, and a really good player. Excited to watch her play tonight.
Another player to watch out for Johns Creek is Evelina Davalacao, a shifty athletic guard, and that'll bring up the backcourt for Johns Creek. Your starting lineup for Sequoia going to look something like this. Deja Rakestraw, Aaron Jackson, Tafton Barber, Ellie Blatchford, and Susanna Rogers, all the usual suspects. So the storyline of tonight, Will, is going to be number 2 versus 3 in the region.
Yeah, listen, it's what you want in playoff basketball scenarios. You want to have a chance to get in, and you want to have a chance to fight for that. Sequoia's really in the catbird seat here, only trailing River Ridge in this one, but looking forward to seeing what they can do as they step out on the court tonight and try and get ready for a little bit of a playoff push.
Yeah, Will, the last time these two teams met was back on January 25th. Sequoia was victorious on the road in Johns Creek by a score of 64-47. Will, if you're a Chiefs fan, you got to be hoping for the same result here tonight.
Not only that, Sequoia is 9-3 at home, and Johns Creek is 6-3 away, so a good matchup there, but Sequoia obviously has a little bit of an edge just because of the amount of games they've played here at the War Lodge.
You know, Will, another interesting stat, the Lady Chiefs for Sequoia have not lost to a team outside of Cherokee County this year.
That's a great stat to have, especially with the talent that is in Cherokee County to kick things off.
And we're speaking of kicking things off, we're fixing to get underway here from the War Lodge between Johns Creek and Sequoia. Johns Creek starts off fast. This one kicked out to the wing, now back to the top. Nice three-point look from the top. That one goes off the side of the rim, going to be rebounded by Blatchford. Blatchford going to lead the troops up the floor, pushing the issue now as she finds a player down in the wing, drives in, and she's going to be fouled on the way to the basket. So one possession for the Chiefs, and they're already headed to the free throw line. Nice play there by Blatchford to kick that one down to Jackson in the wing and get it back on the give and go.
Hey, Blatchford's going to have a lot of attention paid to her tonight and doing a good job pushing the issue, forcing the foul, and getting started early. See if she can convert on these free throws.
And Blatchford's first one's going to toilet bowl out, so no good. Let's see if she can convert on the second attempt. And the second one is good from 15 feet away. A 1-0 score here with 7:44 left to go in the first quarter. Taking their time coming up the court. Davila-Cow going to hand this one off now over to the wing, back to the top. And a baseline drive, and that one going to be kicked back out to the wing, now taking it down in the corner. Shots up, and three-pointer is good by Evelina Davila-Cow.
What a great look for her.
7:15 left to go. Johns Creek on top, 3-1. Nice look, a long two-pointer for Sequoia. No good. Barber with the offensive rebound puts that one up. No good again. And a little contact as Blatchford almost came down with it. Now a nice mid-range jumper is nothing but net, courtesy of Aaron Jackson.
Aaron Jackson, the junior, making a statement here early. Great shot from range.
And she'll tie this one up. 6:53 left to go in the first quarter. Davila-Cow going to hand this one off to Miller. Miller, one of the premier players in the country, but she's going to walk on that one. Correction, an offensive foul called on number 21. That's going to be Abby Roadhurst. That'll be her first of the night. And the Chiefs will get the ball back in a tie game.
I think she was trying to block out Blatchford there and just got a little bit in front of her and committed the foul there, so Sequoia has a chance here to take a little bit of a lead on this possession.
Blatchford carries the ball up the court. Sailor Davies at the scorer's table. She looks like she's about to check in, and the pass is errant and just beyond the reach of Taft and Barber, and that'll be a turnover, and Johns Creek will take back over as Davies is going to check in. Somebody's got to get off the court for the Lady Chiefs. That's going to be Barber, who heads to the bench.
Yeah, Barber, a tall target at 5'10", just a little bit too far and a little bit too hot for her. Bounces out, and Johns Creek will get it back here.
And Barber headed to the locker room. Not sure what that's about. Hope she's okay. But back on the court, this one's going to make its way over to Davila-Cow, but they're going to call a double dribble on Paris Miller.
Surprising from her, given the amount of talent that she has, but one of those early game mistakes. She's probably just got to get settled into this one, and we'll see her fire up here earlier.
A lot at stake at this game. Baseline drive now laid up and in. No good. On the layup attempt by Jackson. Davila-Cow got this one at the top, over by the gray line. Now gives that one to Miller. Inside look at the free throw line. Now back out to the wing for Nuri. And this one goes all the way back around, and Sailor Davies going to get a hand on that one and knock it out of bounds. So it'll stay Gladiators basketball with 5:57 left to go in the first, still tied up at 3 apiece.
Sequoia's doing a good job keeping Miss Miller in check and making sure they have a couple of bodies where she can't drive.
Speaking of Miller, now at the top of the key. That one's touched by Susanna Rogers, but Miller recovers. Nice drive to the lane, lays up and in. What a finish by Paris Miller.
Speaking of the couple of bodies, she ran right around them there, carried the ball in, up and good as they take a 2-point lead here.
5-3 the score with 5:37 left to go. Blatchford looks inside, goes to her left, now switches back to her right. Kicks this one out to the three-point line. Look, no good, way short. Rakestraw is there to recover though, and this one's going to be almost intercepted by Davila-Cow. Rogers has a good look from the wing of the three-pointer and off the bank and in.
Use the bank if you got it. It's open on a Tuesday night, and she does. Great shot.
And Sequoia going to take their first lead of the ball game since that first free throw made by Blatchford. 5:12 left to go in the first quarter. 6-5 Sequoia on top of Johns Creek. Davila-Cow now calling for the screen up high. Not there. They're going to have to kick this one down to the corner. That one's going to be bumped by Blatchford. And a struggle for the ball as Susanna Rogers picks that one up for the Lady Chiefs. Kicks this one down to the corner for Davies for a deep three, and that one goes off the back of the iron, bump back out to the top of the key for Rogers. Rogers drives the lane, lays that one up, no good. Didn't quite have enough mustard on that one. 4:45 left to go, still 6-5 Chiefs. And a nice pass interception there by Rakestraw. Look inside to Blatchford, who mishandles the pass, and that one will go back Johns Creek way, and we'll get a quick break.
One thing you want to say about Johns Creek is that they're trying really hard to get it to Miller here, and it seems like they're trying to force the issue a little bit too much. I know she had that good basket earlier, but maybe try and look at some of your other options, especially Davlakow.
And that looks like what they're going to do. Davlakow taking her time, setting up the pieces, as now she dishes this one out to Miller. Miller mishandles the basketball, pass to pick up her dribble. And nice inside look, but Susanna Rogers is there for the Chiefs. She picks up the ball and gives this one over to Davies. So some stifling defense by the Chiefs. Nice pass down low. Step back jumper is good. What a shot by Deja Rakestraw.
You can't draw it up better than that. What a fantastic shot. Took the step back. That's all she needed. Had the space. 5'9", put it in as they take a 3-point lead.
8-5 that lead. 4 minutes left to go in the first. A lot of action here, even though for a low-scoring game. The ball's down in the paint, and another turnover. Going to be picked up by Rogers again. She dishes it over to Blatchford. Blatchford now looking to her left, now cuts back to her right. Turnaround spin move with the low block, kicks this one out to the wing. No good on the three-point attempt, and the rebound going to be taken by Johns Creek. Here comes Miller. Miller gives this one up to Davlakow, who looks inside, dishes it back to Miller. Long three-pointer to tie it up, no good. Offensive rebound by Johns Creek, and they're going to call a jump ball on that one. As Nyla Nuri was trying to put that one in the basket, and the possession arrow is going to be in the favor of Chiefs.
Interesting call, but goes the way of the Chiefs, so no complaints there. But really good job by the Sequoia defense so far. The one thing they're doing is when the passes are coming, they're jumping up, getting a hand on it, and that's where most of the turnovers for the Sequoia defense are coming from.
Blatchford screen set by Rogers. She goes to her right, now circles back in the paint. Nice layup. Oh, but it teases as a toilet bowl's out. What a nice move by Blatchford. She gets the rebound, though. Another chance on the third time's a charm, and Blatchford puts that one in, and the Chiefs extend their lead to 5. 10-5 with 3:10 left in the first.
If you're not sure of your shot, go ahead and rebound it twice while you're at it. Blatchford, what an amazing play from her. You can see why she's got an offer from Vandy already.
Supreme physical effort there by Blatchford, and this one is going to be picked up at the scorer's table. Now here comes the double team on Miller. Miller tries to throw it off of Rogers, and it goes out of bounds, and it'll be Sequoia basketball.
Tried to give him the old shoe shine there, but didn't work. Sailed out of bounds, and it'll be Sequoia basketball.
And in the meantime, we've got a timeout. So with 2:54 left, Sequoia is on top of Johns Creek 10-5. Will, a lot of back and forth here, but a stifling defensive effort here by the Lady Chiefs.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was surprised about coming into this one is that Sequoia isn't known for their defense when you look at some of the other Cherokee County teams, but doing a really good job here early, finding out that they wanted to go to Miss Miller early and deciding that they were going to prevent that from happening. Only has 2 points so far in this one. Exactly what you want to see. Also worth noting, she already has a foul, and we're not even at the end of the first quarter, so something to keep an eye on there. If they can get her in some foul trouble here early, then maybe you can kind of take her out of the game, but she hasn't been much of a factor so far.
Sequoia doing an excellent job on defense as Juliana Simon checks into the game. She's one of their better perimeter defenders. It looks like they put her on Davlakow, and now she checks back inside. Davlakow looking, and that one looked like it might have been kicked, but Blatchford going to chase it, gets it right before it goes out of bounds. Pass inside to Simon, who gives it right back to Blatchford, and she sinks that one for an easy 2 points. 2:35 left to go in the first. Sequoia 12, Johns Creek 5.
Great way to take possession on the run there and make something happen with it. A lot of times you'll see out of control. Good job slowing it down and taking control.
Simon will talk to her at halftime of the boys' game. Pull-up jumper, no good inside the paint by Miller, and that one's going to head out of bounds, and let's see which way it goes, and it's going to go back Sequoia's way. So everything going right for the Chiefs here in the first quarter with 2:19 left and a 7-point lead.
No doubt about it. Sequoia just got to keep their foot on the gas right here, keep giving things, and keep things working with the pass.
Blatchford drives the lane, nice pass inside, but that one is going to be knocked out of the way by Nyla Nuri. So a good defensive play there in the paint by Nuri keeps Sequoia from putting more points on the board.
Looks like it went off a Johns Creek player, so they'll retain it here.
So Sequoia going to retain possession. That's big. Baseline pass, and that one poked out again as Miller says no thank you. 2:10 left. Sequoia 12, Johns Creek 5. Johns Creek going to have to find some offense here, or this one could get out of hand if Blatchford continues to stay hot.
That's where they're trying to get it to her as well, trying to set up a little bit of something to get her open.
And the inside look is no good as that ball goes off the bottom of the backboard. Now a scramble for the ball, picked up by Simon. Now it's back on the floor again. Who's going to come up with it? It's Blatchford. She pokes that one back out. And this one looks more like a rugby scrum as Johns Creek finally comes away with the ball. That's Miller. She's got Rogers to beat, lays that one up and in, and going to draw the and one attempt. Will, what an exciting back and forth that was.
I tell you, I was surprised it didn't end up with a jump ball somewhere in there, but nobody could ever get their hand on it and keep possession of it long enough for the refs to stop the play. So ends up being a good play for Johns Creek as they're able to go to the line here and try the three-point play.
I think everybody from both teams ended up on the floor at one point or the other, and Miller is able to convert on the three-point play, and that will cut this lead to 4 as Sequoia still leads Johns Creek 12-8 with 1:50 left to go in the opening round of this heavyweight Region 7 6A tilt. Simon has this one at the wing. Looks for Blatchford, nice crossover dribble, and the pass goes a little wide. Blatchford, nice recovery for the Lady Chiefs. She's getting double teamed at the top of the key, and that one almost turned over again. Butterfingers all around. Three-point shot by Singh is no good, and Blatchford, the hard charger, and we're down on the ground again, and still nobody can get the ball. This one going to be picked up by Singh, and she's going to hold on to it, and now she's going to be double teamed. The ball's back on the floor again, and now we've got a jump ball finally, and possession arrow goes to Johns Creek.
Wow.
Will, the girls getting physical in the first quarter tonight.
You know, they talk a lot about how some basketball games can get physical, and normally that means under the net, but this one's taken out on the floor. It seems like they're playing in a pool trying to swim for the ball, and right now, Johns Creek having a little bit of a resurgence with this one, but keep in mind, Sequoia's still up by 4 here, so no reason to panic in the Chiefs huddle so far.
Goodness gracious, get the wrestling mats out, Will.
I tell you.
1:17 left to go in the first quarter, and these ladies have been all over the floor, putting their bodies on the line to try and get the basketball. Sequoia still the beneficiary on top, 12-8, as we're under 90 seconds to go, 1:17 to be exact, and it's going to be Sequoia basketball. Thought they gave the possession to Johns Creek, but Simon inbounds it to Blatchford, so they must have changed their mind after the timeout. Rogers takes this one at the wing, looks for Blatchford inside, what a pass, and Blatchford lays that one up and in. 1:07 left to go, and Sequoia leads 14-8.
She better be out there trying for a football throwing like with that pass.
We'll see Matthew Trainer later here tonight. Maybe he can give her some pointers later on.
Hey.
And that one tipped by Blatchford, and that one's going to be poked out of bounds. And who do they say it went off of? It went off of Sequoia. So it'll stay Johns Creek basketball. Sophia DeMauro going to check in for Ellie Blatchford, as she is going to get a much-deserved break here at the end of the first quarter.
Blatchford, you can tell, she is not only probably the most talented player out on the floor, but also puts in the most effort. She is everywhere tonight.
Ball inbounded to Davilicow. Davilicow finds Nuri. Cross-court pass is going to be poked away by Davies. Correction, DeMauro, who pokes that one away, but it'll stay Johns Creek basketball. Inbound pass and a foul on Simon as Kennedy McWilliams was trying to put that one up, so she'll go to the charity stripe with 45 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Sequoia on top of Johns Creek, 14-8. Will, just imagine if you bought a ticket to be here.
Man, I tell you, price of admission already, and we've still got a lot of basketball in this one and another game after.
First free throw is no good by McWilliams. She'll get another crack at it here. Miller, the leading scorer for Johns Creek, 5 of their 8 points. And the second one is no good. Rebound by Rogers. Rogers probably 70% up the court. Now she turns on the Jets. Nice spin move in the paint. Now she puts that one up, and that one teases, but no good. And Miller's got one to beat. She's driving the lane. Nice finish by Miller. And it's 14-10 with 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
That's going on the highlight reel.
That was a beautiful cut through the paint.
Wow.
Here comes Rogers, gives this one to Jackson. Just misses, a little bit too much mustard on that one. And Johns Creek with a chance to make this one a one-possession game before the buzzer. What? Oh, just missing is Paris Miller. Sequoia got an opportunity to get the last shot off. 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left. Three-pointer is no good as it's not even anywhere near the basket. And Will finally, what a first quarter here from the War Lodge at Sequoia High School. The Lady Chiefs holding on to a 4-point lead over the Johns Creek Gladiators. Will, what can you say about that first quarter?
Well, there's a lot you can say. First of all, a new definition to the War Lodge with everything that was going on the floor out there. Very hard fought, especially when things got on the floor. And next thing you know, there's bodies flying everywhere. No telling who's going to end up with the ball. But one thing I will say is that you can really tell that Elle Blatchford She is a huge part of the Sequoia game plan, and when she went off the court there, you could see they were trying to get the quick hit but couldn't really get it, and when she's on the floor, it's much easier for them. The other thing I'm interested to see is we didn't see Miller check out at all for Johns Creek. She played that entire first quarter. Interested to see how long they will keep her in and what kind of minutes she's going to be under as they're trying to get – it's kind of the same situation. Third spot in the region right now, kind of comfortable there, but they would obviously like to advance if they can and get up to that second spot. Yeah,
that home court advantage would be pretty nice, especially in a year where there's not a lot of crowd advantage. But, Will, they said that the Johns Creek Gladiators were coming tonight. I did not realize they meant American Gladiator.
No kidding.
But this has been a physical first quarter. Folks, if you were joining us on Chiefs TV, we appreciate it. You are catching, so far, a good one. As we get ready to kick off the second quarter here from the War Lodge. Miller going to carry the ball up the court this time. She's at the gray line. Pass over to the wing. Now she'll get it back up top. Nice look inside. McWilliams puts the ball up. That one was blocked. And Sequoia going to come up with this one now. Fast break. A little bit too much mustard on the pass as Jackson was able to recover. Miller tried to get the steal, but she just ran out of bounds and ran out of room. So Sequoia going to take back over after they just missed on the fast break attempt. Inbound pass to Barber. Rogers going to look inside. Now an outside pass to Jackson again. Pulls the trigger, and that one's good.
She's been getting good looks all game, and finally she got one to hit home there. Really good job and really good shot. Excuse me, that's her 7th point of the game. So she's had one before that as well. Doing a really good job so far in this one.
Correction, that was Aaron Jackson on the 3. So 7:18 left to go. Another inside look. That's been there all night, but just a little bit too much steam on the pass. Now pushed ahead for Blatchford. Blatchford's got to check up at the basketball. What an underhanded shot. And she lays that one up and in off the glass. 19-10 Sequoia as Blatchford and Miller are putting on a display.
Especially when they're driving. That's where they're both really special at, and you can see that on display tonight. Wow, what a couple of athletes we've got on display here.
Both teams turning this one into a track meet as it's athlete on athlete. Speaking of Blatchford, she got a hand on that pass, and that's another turnover. She finds Jackson. Jackson looks inside, has to pick up her dribble, and she recovers and charges into the lane, and she's going to draw a foul. So 6:39 left to go in the first half. Sequoia up by 9 after the hot start to the second quarter.
I'll tell you one thing that most people won't realize about the War Lodge if you haven't been here is that the scoreboard makes calling the game incredibly easy because most places you're keeping track of it, but they put the fouls up right there so you can keep track of who's got who, and easy to see they've got 3 fouls across the board, all with 1. Sequoia only committed 1 so far.
Rakestraw good on the first free throw. And on the second. So 21-10 Sequoia has their first double-digit lead of the evening. They're looking to keep their foot on the gas, but Davlicow and Miller, that backcourt, and McWilliams, that pass is going to go Aaron. Another turnover. Sequoia going to look to jump all over this one, but that backcourt of Miller and Davlicow, if they can get going, that might be something to worry about down the road for the Lady Chiefs.
Just been a step off so far in this one.
Nice pass to Rakestraw, and she hits a three-pointer. And Johns Creek wants to talk about it. So Sequoia off to a lightning fast start here in the second quarter of play as they went into the break with a 4-point lead, Will, and they've stepped this one out to a 14-point lead.
Hey, you know, when you got it, step on the gas and make them hurt. The score we're pretty familiar with here with 24-10. Doing a good job so far in this one. Like we mentioned, keeping Miller in check. You know she's going to score, so the couple of times that she's gotten to the basket, don't worry about it. But you have to just take your punches where you can, and so far doing a good job with that and returning the favor in a large part to Blatchford.
24-10 your current score. 6:15 left to go in the first half. Miller putting the chess pieces in place. This one going to be kicked out to Nuri. Nuri sends this one over to the corner and over and back by Johns Creek as Rogers is going to chase the ball down. Davlicow could not corral the pass. And Sequoia with a chance to inbound the ball underneath their own underneath the basket they're trying to score in. And a substitution coming up for Johns Creek. As checking into the game now is Jordan Sherman. And she's going to give Roadhurst a break. And a hard foul going to the basket As Rakestraw going to head back to the charity stripe.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard foul there going up there, but going to try and convert two here, as we mentioned. She's had a few good looks so far tonight. Hoping to keep that rolling and keep that conversions going.
And the first one is good from 15 feet straight away. And that makes it 25-10, a 15-point lead here for the Lady Chiefs.
6 minutes left in the second.
And the second one, no good. Barber picks this one up. She gets it to Blatchford, who fires that one from the free throw line and buries that one home. And Sequoia is pouring it on here in the early part of the second quarter.
Nothing like a free throw that counts for two.
Miller taking her time, working one-on-one with Rogers. She beats her and takes a shot of her own from the free throw line. So Blatchford and Miller continue to play their game of horse that they've played all night. With 5:30 left to go in the first half. Rogers now out to Jackson. Jackson going to dribble around. Now she has to go back out to the opposite wing. Rakestraw again, and that one a little too much on it, but Rogers is there for the offensive rebound, but that one's going to be stolen by Davlakow. Davlakow works around Rogers. She's all by herself, and she lays that one up, and no good, but she draws the foul. So she'll go to the charity stripe. 5:13 left. Sequoia 27, Johns Creek 12.
That whole play was all Davlakow there, with the steal, with the reception, with taking it up the court, and then forcing the issue and drawing the foul. Good job by her. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about Miller like we already have, but she's the other end of that backcourt, so doing a good job so far and a lot of effort from number one.
As that first free throw is good. You know, Will, I know it's a 14-point game, but this one has felt like it's got the intensity of a very close basketball game.
It has. It just seems like that anytime Johns Creek tries to get a little momentum, they end up shooting themselves in the foot with a foul or a missed pass or something.
And the second one is good. So Davlakow 2 for 2 on that trip to the nail. 13-point lead, 27-14, 5 minutes left to go in the first half. And nice move there by Blatchford. She drives into the paint and drip drops that one into the bottom of the net, 29-14. Chiefs on top of the Gladiators.
Just doing a really good job with the head fakes, and she gets everybody to commit to one direction and takes it the other way.
Miller working around the top of the arc. She gets that one back. That inside look was there, and she passes it to Rakestraw. Rakestraw going to try and drive the lane now as she lays that one up. No call on the trip. And Rogers going to drive now. She puts that one up and off the side of the backboard. And Davlakow goes down, and they're going to call Sequoia for a tripping foul.
I believe that was on Sophia, number 2 coming up the court there.
So foul on Damaro. I believe that's her first. Davlakow to Miller. Nice screen there, gives Miller some working room, and that one's going to be blocked. And a body check there inside the paint.
Physical.
These girls are playing for keeps here tonight, Will.
No doubt about it. A lot of physical back and forth. But, hey, you know, that's part of basketball. People say it's a non-contact sport. Anybody that watches the game knows that's not true.
Channeling the early 90s Detroit Pistons games here with 4:12 left to go. Sequoia 29, Johns Creek 14. Singh beyond the arc. Now she sends that one over to Damaro. Simon has this one. She'll dribble back to the top of the key, changes directions, looks to the inside of the Blatchford. Blatchford, nice pass from the baseline as she was falling down. Rogers kicks this one over to Singh for 3. No good. And here comes Paris Miller. Step back, got 2 defenders on her. She picks up her dribbles, Simon in her face, and she's just going to fire a 3-pointer.
Wow.
What a shot by Paris Miller.
Wow. There's a reason that she's got so many offers from all these schools, and that's exactly why. In a horrible situation she put herself into, but if you can get yourself out, why not?
Steal by Davlakow. She's got Simon to beat. Nice jump step. Puts that one up and just rolls off the front of the rim. And we've got a jump ball just underneath the basket, so 3:19 left. Sequoia still on top of Johns Creek by 12, 29-17. But will Johns Creek not going quietly into that good night?
No, the energy is still very palpable here, especially from that Johns Creek side. Very fired up.
Blatchford taking her time, putting the troops in place. She kicks this one over to Simon. Simon with the head fake. Now nice pass to Damaro. Damaro looks inside, now back out to Simon. And Simon going to drive the lane and goes down hard. So Simon going to take a trip to the charity stripe.
One thing Sequoia has done extremely well so far in this game is pass. They throw a lot of hard and quick passes, and they find people to the opposite end of the floor trying to get Johns Creek out of position, and so far it's worked.
So the battle for that second seed is everything right now, and Sequoia and Johns Creek putting it all on the line as Simon going to sink that first free throw. Once again, fans, want to remind you, during halftime of the boys game, we're going to get to talk to Juliana Simon. We're going to talk to her about tonight's game as she's a senior. This is her last home game here in the War Lodge, and she is definitely making it count.
No doubt about that. Excited for that interview.
Second one's going to go ahead and rim out and rebound by Johns Creek. So 3 minutes left, 30-17 Sequoia. Simon working on Miller. Miller to Nuri. Now back to Miller. Miller drives the lane, and that one teardrops in, 30-19. Miller 14 of Johns Creek's 19 points as Blatchford goes down hard driving the lane, but she gets the pass out to Singh, and Singh a little bit too much foot movement before she put the basketball down, and that'll be a turnover.
Yeah, that was a good setup all the way, and like we mentioned, I mean, we've said it before, but Blatchford is just putting everything she's gotten to this game so far. You can just tell she's the one that always ends up on the floor with an incredible pass or an incredible effort.
Inside look is not there. Now back out to Miller. Miller has to pick up her dribble, kicks this one back over to the far wing. Now back to Miller at the top. Miller staring down Rogers, picks up a pick, long two, and that one is good.
Did everything it could not to be good, but finally trickled in.
Don't look now, Will. Here comes Johns Creek, 30-21 with 2:07 left to go in the first half of this heavyweight bout. Blatchford waiting for something to happen with the offense. She picks up two defenders, and here comes Miller from behind, and they're going to get her on a reaching call. A little bit too aggressive on the pursuit, and that'll be Miller's second of the night.
I think that's what Sequoia's game plan is. You want Blatchford on Miller pretty much most of the night, and it's worked so far. Like we mentioned, she has 16 of the points for Johns Creek in this one, but besides that, you know she's going to score, so just live with it and score more. Blatchford
flashes to the basket. Now a three-pointer is good, and welcome to the game, Susanna Rogers.
Great shot, great look, great setup by the offense, and an even better shot.
Miller beyond the arc. Here comes the pick, but it's ineffective. Flash to the basket, laid up, no good on the shot attempt by Hylam. Pass to Blatchford, shot from beyond the arc, sinks that one!
Wow.
36-21, a minute 15 left to go, and back and forth between Miller and Blatchford, putting on an absolute highlight reel of a performance tonight, and Sequoia gonna pick up a foul on the reach, but Will, these two titans of girls high school basketball here in Georgia are putting on a display.
Blatchford and Miller both sitting at 16. It just so happens that Elle so far has had a little bit better of a supporting cast as you got a few players in the six. And the only other player that's scored for Johns Creek is number 1, Davlikow, in this one so far.
Evelina Davlikow, that backcourt. Ooh, nice look inside. And as we say that, getting on the board is Nuri. And that's where it's going to have to come from, Will. Is these Johns Creek Gladiators are going to have to get some offensive production from somewhere else because this Sequoia defense has been stifling as the long two-pointers no good. And a turnover by Johns Creek. Push this one ahead. Blatchford going to chase it to the corner. Blatchford fires another 3-0 and just misses a little bit too much on that one, but she's got a steal and gets it back inside.
Wow.
DeMauro picks this one up. Now over to Rogers. Rogers goes to her right. Now she's going to kick this one out to the corner, long two, and that one is sunk by Rakestraw.
Great team effort there, but one thing to keep your eye on, Coach Call, the head coach for Johns Creek, every time Elle gets it, he just shakes his head.
I have to wonder if Coach Yarbrough's doing the same thing. Baseline drive all by herself is Nyla Nuri. Nuri starting to develop as an offensive weapon here for the Johns Creek Gladiators as the game progresses. Sailor Davies for three, and she sinks that one, and the Chiefs are going to close out the first half on a huge run. Last shot by Miller, no good off the backboard. So what a first half as Sequoia going to go into the break with a 41-25 lead. And Will, what more can we say about the first half of this girls' contest?
Well, first of all, Sequoia got really on fire with their three-point shooting there at the end of the half there, so something to keep your eye on there. You know, looking at the points totals, you have a mixed bag. 8, 7, 6. You know, you've got 8 coming up from Rexstraw. You've got 6 all the way on the back end with Rogers. You know, all these people that you see over there. And you look over on the Johns Creek side, and it's pretty much just the backcourt there. You know, you got Davlicow and you've got Miller. That's pretty much it for them, aside from the couple of scores there at the end by Nuri. But you're seeing that the Sequoia effort is a little bit better so far in this one. Obviously, Johns Creek's still playing hard and fighting hard. But you have to feel like Sequoia's got a little bit better of a game plan. And like we mentioned, the passing from Sequoia is so much more crisp and so much better than Johns Creek so far.
Absolutely, Will. We haven't done this during the first half of the game because it's just been such an exciting game. But we're going to go ahead and thank some sponsors real quick. Our gold level sponsor tonight, Buffalo's, where everyone is family. They're our gold level sponsor. Black level sponsors are as follows. We want to thank Cycle Works Sanitation of Ball Ground, Georgia, the Barbie Lackey Financial Group, Beato's Bar and Grill here in Hickory Flat, Food Basket Deli, home of the best Phillies in town. I want to go ahead and thank all of our sponsors for supporting Sequoia Chiefs basketball. Will, you know, Cherokee County really gets behind its high school sports here.
It really does. You know, for anybody that doesn't know, I've had an opportunity to work with WLJ Radio for the past 3 years. And, you know, first of all, big shout out to them for allowing me to come and be a part of this. I think it's important that we support our local high schools and especially the talent that you see. Obviously, a lot of attention gets paid to football, including in our kind of broadcast realm and all that stuff. We're obviously the Cherokee County Game of the Week for Friday nights. But you forget about some of the talent that exists outside of that. Like we mentioned, you know, Blatchford here with offers from Vanderbilt, only a sophomore, so everybody hold on to your horses there. But, you know, you look all across the place. Cherokee on their boys team has 2 3- to 4-star level guys with Tyland Owens, you know, and obviously the other one.
Elijah Tucker.
Elijah Tucker, you got it, you know, headed to Xavier as well. So, you know, 2 really big players over there. You look at baseball, you think about the heritage of baseball at Etowah and Woodstock, that rivalry over there. Obviously, for anybody who pays attention to the Braves and enjoys their farm system, Drew Waters, the Etowah local. I mean, you know, you can go all over the place. We're at Sequoia, so I'll say it kind of quietly, but Creekview with their 2018 run, you look at some of those kids, you know, Nick Penley transferring back to Georgia Tech, coming back to a hometown school, John Williams at Clemson. You know, they have tons of talent. Same thing with Sequoia that 2018 year. You know, you look at Collier Paith at Austin P. He's getting his face in a little bit of some media now, so hopefully we'll see him get an opportunity to touch the football come fall as well for those guys. And, you know, I mean, it's just everywhere. And that's not including wrestling where there's so many state champions. Swimming does a great job. You know, I know at Sequoia had a couple as well. So all over the place, just a really solid group of not only, you know, athletes, but also the coaches here do such a good job of communicating with the media and do a good job of taking care of their kids. It's really something special to be in this part of the state.
Well, you know, and even looking at from a girls basketball perspective, just the players you have here in Cherokee County, Cherokee and Woodstock High School have both flashed in and out of the top 10 throughout the season. Utberg over at Utberg is it's escaping me right now. We've seen so many good female basketball players this year. But we're going to go ahead and pass the mic over here for a second as we have got a treat. We want to go ahead and give a good send-off to some of our senior athletes here within the basketball program. So excuse me as the mic enters the picture. Let's go ahead and take Nick first. Where's Nick? Nick? All right. So ladies and gentlemen, joining us in the booth, we're going to make a little bit of room for you here, Nick. And just go ahead and sit down right here. And just talk into that for me if you don't mind. And I think I have that mic muted, so let me go ahead and unmute that one real quick. Oh, wow. Pull that down just a hair. Nick, thank you so much for joining us, bud.
Of course, of course.
Senior year, how's it feel?
Bittersweet, you know. Last couple games, hoping to leave with a region championship. You know, make sure to leave a mark. You know, helping out the younger guys on the team. So, you know, it's a bittersweet feel.
So, Nick, you've been in this program for quite a long time, and I have to imagine this is the first time that you've ever seen the War Lodge this empty. What's it like playing basketball your senior season during COVID?
Energy draining, you know. Having a fence here is a big plus with the energy. Kind of helps out, you know, gives you something to play a lot for. But, you know, we got to create our own energy, you know. So we make sure to do that in the locker room, get hyped and all that stuff, and come out here and just play.
Well, Nick, we wanted to go ahead and give you guys a proper send-off for your senior year. You guys have had a fantastic season. I've enjoyed watching you play, especially on defense.
I appreciate that.
That perimeter defense is stifling, man. It's so much fun to watch
Thank you.
when they put you on the ball. But thank you so much for joining us. Good luck. You got 2 more home games till the end of your senior season, and best of luck going forward, bud.
Thank you.
Jack. Now, a quick disclaimer. For some reason, when I'm on the broadcast, I always call you Jack.
No, I'm not Jack.
What's your first name, man?
Jalen.
Jalen Doyle. I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah.
I've caught myself so many times on the broadcast saying Jack, and I'm like, I don't even know where that comes from. So, Jalen Doyle, your senior season, man, how's it feel?
It's pretty good. I like it. It's been fun.
And I'll ask you what I asked Nick. What's it like playing in the War Lodge with so few people? I mean, I have to imagine that's a lot different than previous years.
It's still fun. I mean, the bench brings energy, so I mean, it makes up for it.
You know, Cherokee County really gets behind their high school sports, so I bet that's it's a little bit different playing during the year of COVID.
Yeah.
But any plans for post high school basketball?
Not really. I don't think I want to do that. I mean, if I get the opportunity, I might take it, but I don't think I want to.
Any colleges lined up that you're planning on attending after this year?
Maybe Kennesaw State or Georgia State, or I might go out of town. Who knows?
Well, we really appreciate and enjoy watching you play basketball. It's been a privilege to call your guys' games this year, and it's been a lot of fun. So best of luck the rest of the way to you. Give them heck for the last 2 home games of the year, and congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And last but certainly not least, Aiden Watson, the tall inside player, sporting a different hairdo as he comes into the booth tonight.
Gotta keep it fresh, keep it switched up.
Yeah, changing it up on us a little bit. Aiden, thank you so much for joining us. How about this girls' game here tonight? They're really putting it to Johns Creek.
Oh yeah, I came out here and see somebody's got 16 on them right now. It's crazy.
And Blatchford not backing down either with another 16 of her own. They've been playing back and forth the entire night. But enough about that. Senior season, man. You guys got 2 home games left. How you feeling?
Man, it's crazy to think that high school is almost over for me. But you know, it's just all the more reason to come out here and just put it all out on the court. You know, I don't got much left. So
you know, I've really enjoyed watching you throughout the year.
Thank you.
I think particularly that River Ridge performance. I really enjoyed that. You had 2 really big guys that you had to play against on the inside, and they were kind of imposing their will towards the beginning of the game. But you really stepped it up in the second half of that game and took no garbage from them in the paint, and en route to a big win for the Sequoia Chiefs.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So what's the plans for after high school, bud?
I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, during the summer I could play on an AAU team and get some offers. But if that doesn't happen, then, of course, I can always just, you know, apply to college, maybe walk on. And if that doesn't work, I got to see where it goes from there.
Coaches, Aiden Watson, Sequoia, senior. We can make this happen. He's an exciting player. We've enjoyed calling his games all year long. Find his huddle highlights. You need a player like this on your team. Aiden, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you.
Last two home games left of the year. We'll be back for the Centennial game Friday night. That'll be a tough one, but I think you guys can pull it off.
For sure.
So congratulations, and give them heck.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a quick 30-second break, ladies and gentlemen, right before we bring you the second half of the girls varsity game here, where Sequoia leading 41-25 over Johns Creek. I'm Chase Schaefer. Joining me is Will Cooper, and we'll be right back momentarily. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the War Lodge here at Sequoia High School for the start of the second half between Sequoia and Johns Creek. Sequoia on top of Johns Creek 41-25, but Will, it feels so much closer than that going to start the second half.
It really does, and one thing that I'm surprised to see is that Paris Miller coming out of halftime. She has not been on the bench a single minute in this game so far. Interested to see how long she can go and if they decide to keep her in the whole game.
Davila now they're going to go the opposite way as Johns Creek going to work to the left side of your screen if you're watching on Chiefs TV. Miller at the top of the key, taking her time. Nice crossover dribble, moves inside, and some contact in the paint, but they're going to let him play as Barber was there to stop that drive to the basket by Miller. Rogers, nice pass over to Blatchford. Now she swings this one over to Rakestraw, who has been automatic from three-point land here tonight, 44-25 Sequoia.
Hardly even touched the net, an absolute dime from outside.
And Blatchford with the steal. Blatchford, the single game leader in steals in Sequoia girls high school basketball history, kicks this one over to Aaron Jackson. That one goes just off the rim, but a long offensive rebound. Now Blatchford down low, and that one rolls in. And Sequoia with a 21-point lead as they have come out of the locker room firing on all cylinders.
You can tell Blatchford is not intimidated by Miller. Right there in her face, she puts it up anyway, and it goes in as they take an even more commanding lead in this one.
Blatchford 3 points over her season average in points per game so far. Down low look, and that one makes its way to Davila Cow, and she sinks a long two-pointer. Did they call that 2 or 3?
I believe it was a 3.
They called it a 3, so 46-28. Couldn't tell if she was on the line or not, but it doesn't matter what I think. The referee says it was a three-pointer, so we'll go with that. 46-28, three-pointer for Rakestraw, and she is on fire. 49-28 Sequoia, 6:24 left to go in the third quarter.
We've been talking about Blatchford. She's got 18, but Rakestraw has 14 in this one.
Will, you remember NBA Jam when they were heating up and then they'd start smoking and then they'd go on fire. Rakestraw, if she hits one more three-pointer. Speaking of three-pointers, here's a shot by Johns Creek that goes way over the rim. No good. Davila Cow now with 2 defenders in her face. One breaks off. Now she sends this one over to Nuri. Now back to Davila Cow. Ooh, some contact just beyond the arc, and Blatchford in a foot race now. She's got 2 to beat as that one goes up, and they're not going to call anything on the contact, but Rakestraw is there to put that one back, and a timeout called. Full timeout as Sequoia is in the driver's seat here with 5:50 left to go in the third quarter. Sequoia 51, Johns Creek 28.
You know, we knew coming into this one that Sequoia was a good team. Obviously, you don't become second in the region and command a 17-5 overall record. But one of the things that you pointed out to me when I first came into the booth was that they haven't lost to an outside county team yet. And, I mean, you can tell by this performance that they really put their foot down when they have to.
And, Will, just to piggyback off that point, against Cherokee County teams, they're 1-5.
Wow.
What does that say about Cherokee County basketball?
Well, I mean, when you think about the teams in the county, right? So you think about River Ridge, obviously they're first in the region. I know that's a really kind of a sore subject for all the other 5 high schools given their recent success that came out of really nowhere. But, you know, the other part of that too is that you think about a team like Creekview that's down this year for most part, but they still have so much talent. They're still so well coached that it's hard to beat them and they kind of wear down on you. And then you look across the aisle at 7A, Woodstock in the top 10 for girls basketball this week. Obviously Cherokee's been there. They're there all the time. They do such a good job, and you know, last year with their run all the way through the Elite Eight and all the things like that, you expect them to be there. But Sequoia, you know, it's not like they're such, you know, they're obviously not a bad team by their performance tonight, but it's just that Cherokee County is so deep.
It really is, and you know, the fun thing about Cherokee County is it's all homegrown talent. Very few transfers come in and out of Cherokee County. Nuri with a three-pointer, and that one too much on it as it goes off the opposite side iron. Picked up by Sequoia. Blatchford looks for Jackson in the corner. No good as that one goes off the front of the rim. Now here comes Davila Cow. She's got Davies, the freshman, to beat. She crossover dribbles. Davies matched her stride for stride. Now she's going to switch off with Blatchford. No, she'll stay on. Look at a three-pointer there. No good. Davila Cow, nice head fake and moves inside. Barber's there as she cannot get past Hafton Barber, and it is all Blatchford on her way to the basket, and she'll lay that one up and in for her 20th point of the evening in Sequoia. In a commanding position, up 53-28 with 5 left in the third.
The freshman Davies there really made that play on the defensive part of it, running stride for stride with Davila Cow like you called. But, man, did a good job. And then obviously on the back end, Blatchford, it's pretty much automatic.
Miller picks that dribble up over the logo. Look inside for McWilliams. McWilliams gives that one back to Miller, and Miller If she'd have made that shot, Will, we should have just went home, man.
Yeah.
That would have been ridiculous. And driving to the basket and picking up the foul is going to be Jackson. And we've got a player down on the floor, and that's Paris Miller. That's a big deal.
So there was a lot of contact there on the drive, and it looked like she fell pretty hard to the hardwood there, and she was going up against Tafton Barber there. Just obviously don't want to speculate, and we won't. But just looks like a little bit of pain in the back, maybe knocked the wind out of her.
As she is moving her right leg. I haven't seen the left leg move yet. We certainly hope she's okay. We're going to transition from that for a second. The training staff is out there taking care of her. Oh, never mind. She pops back up. So she might have just got the wind knocked out of her, and she's going to walk off the court under her own power. So fantastic to see. As physical as this game has been, Will, we don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Absolutely not. That's in any sport you play, even a contact sport, that's not at all what you want to see. You want to beat the best team out there and be the best team out there, and she's obviously a huge part of this team. As we mentioned, she had 18 points before she went off the court there. So hopefully she'll be okay. And this is her first time off of the floor for the first time for the Gladiators. So we'll have to see how they respond.
First free throw by Jackson is good. That'll take her up to 8 points. Like you said, Will, it was the first time she's been off the floor, and it looks like she's already heading over to tell Coach that she's ready to check back in. And that one goes in, and Coach Call going to say no. Just take a little bit more time. 55-28, Sequoia on top of Johns Creek. 4:30 left to go in the third quarter. And that one down in the corner. Now the defense is going to collapse down on the loose ball. Davilicow picks it up, and that one is going to be picked off by Ellie Blatchford as Blatchford plays safety in the backcourt there. Blatchford swings this one out to Rakestraw. Can she do it? No, and she finally breaks the consecutive three-point streak, and Simon's going to pick up a foul. A little bit too much contact. Will, I feel like this is, this deserves to be said, but as physical as this game has been played, these officials here tonight, these GHSA officials have done a fantastic job.
They have. They've been very fair and impartial with most of the calls tonight, and doing a good job when they see a double dribble or back and forth. They're doing a good job calling it. Sometimes those go unnoticed.
Miller back in the game as the defense collapses down on her again. Now Davilicow going to corral this one. Miller. And just misses on the three-pointer, and some contact under the basket again as Simon has that one slapped, but it makes its way to Rogers anyway. And Jackson going to try a three-pointer now. No good, but Rogers all by herself under the basket. That one, nice block there by Nuri.
Yeah.
And we'll get a jump ball. So still 55-28 with 3:35 left to go in the third quarter. Will, I can't say this enough. The score is not indicative of how this game has gone so far. Both teams are leaving the heart and soul out on the court tonight.
They really are, and it just so happens that Sequoia is doing a better job of passing, and that's really the difference in this game. A few less fouls and a few more shots falling from three-point range, and that's especially thanks to Rakestraw.
Jackson drives to the basket and lays that one up, no good. As she couldn't find the basket there, Miller in a foot race now. She's going to check up at the three-point line. Miller backs up, picks up her dribble, now gives this one over. And the inside pass doesn't find its mark, but it's going to be picked up by Naya, who gives it over to Davilicow. Inside for McWilliams, and McWilliams is going to drop that one into the basket. And that'll bring it to within 25. 3:05 left to go in the third. And Blatchford, after a quick breather, going to check back into the game as she's at the scorer's table. Inside look to Singh. Singh, baseline drive. Good look, but not quite on the money for the layup. Inside look to Simon. Simon, and that one's going to be poked out for Jackson, and a jump ball. Ooh, a hard collision just outside of the logo. And that's going to be the third for Simon as Davilicow and Simon ran into each other. That was hard contact. I think you just have to call a foul on that one out of principle, but man.
Yeah, in the rule book, it's probably not a foul. She was waiting on the pass. Both of them were going for it. It's kind of one of those, both have a right to the ball, but just because of how it looked and how physical it was, it, draws the foul there.
But Davlakow, what a warrior. She gets back up immediately after taking that hit. Here comes Blatchford. She'll drive the lane. Oh, she tried to pass it over, and that's going to be a turnover for Sequoia as Rogers is unable to save it. As Blatchford got caught trying to get a little fancy there with the pass to Simon, and Simon just wasn't ready for it.
Would have been nice if it was there, but it just wasn't that time. So no harm, no foul there. No pun intended there either.
Miller flips this one over and gets it back. Miller cross, nice Euro step into the paint, but it just rolls out. As, boy, her moves to the basket are just so pretty. Another layup attempt, no good there. And Singh going to push this one ahead. Now she finds DeMauro. DeMauro going to have to retreat. And now finds Rogers all day from beyond the arc. No good as it goes off the back of the iron. DeMauro, and that was an inside look to Callie Gaddis. And Callie Gaddis getting on the scoreboard here, making it 57-30 with a minute 52 left to go in the third quarter.
Great serve, and how impressive is it to see Miller back out there? I mean, she only took maybe a minute of game off.
Oh, not even, maybe 30 seconds.
I mean, wow, talk about, they're the Gladiators, and they're proving it here.
And we've got a jump ball. So Meredith Hilliam going to the basket, and Sequoia ties her up for a jump ball. So a minute 37 left to go in the third. 57-30, Sequoia on top of Johns Creek. And that one poked out of bounds by Blatchford.
The thing that impresses me the most about Blatchford is that, sometimes it gets lost in translation how good these players are, but when you put her up against somebody like Miller, you see how good she is and how good she's doing, and running stride for stride with Miller.
So if the region standings hold pat right now, Sequoia with a win will host Pope here at the War Lodge during the state playoffs. And Johns Creek would travel to Kell, where I have to think that would be a very fun physical game to watch there. And no good on the three-point attempt. Sequoia with the rebound. Gaddis with a nice spin move there. Gets that one back over to Rogers. Rogers flips that one over two defenders to Blatchford. Blatchford going to take her time. Sends that one into Singh. Nice look, Singh, and no good on the shot. Now down on the ground again we go. Blatchford has this one. Now she's going to check back out to Rogers. And Davlakow, like a woman possessed on defense, tries to drive in, and Rogers is going to be able to draw the foul as she drives into the paint. Davlakow was all over the floor there for a second, Will.
She really is kind of the effort player in this one. Probably not the talent that Miller has. Obviously, it's hard to match that talent given the 4 stars that she's been awarded. But just the effort that she's put into this game is so apparent.
And Blatchford sinks another one. So 22 points for Ellie Blatchford, 59-30, a minute left to go in the third.
It's funny how we try to shout other players out, and then one of the stars takes it back over as soon as we mention them.
I know. We're trying to give everybody their props. Everybody's played so good tonight. These girls, this has really been an impressive game. I know the score doesn't show that, but I can't stress that enough. On the putback attempt for Johns Creek, no good, and going to get tied up down low as DeMauro going to pick up a foul as she got a little bit too much of number, I believe that's number 3. That would be Audrey Puebla. So Sequoia leading by 29 here as Blatchford going to check back out of the game. 42 seconds left to go in the third. Will, we get one more point. We have a 6-minute clock for the fourth quarter. And inside look and a nice block by Rogers, and down to the floor we go again. And Davies, and there's a pass all the way down the court as Sophia DeMauro all by herself. She misses the layup, though. She's going to have to chase it before it goes out of bounds and a turnover, and that one's going to go off Barber. Correction, that's Singh that was standing there. 21 seconds left to go in the third, 59-30.
The most nerve-wracking shot you can take is the open layup when you hear the footsteps behind you. You never know how fast they are, how close they are.
Oh, Will, she had all day, too. She was on an island. 3-point attempt, no good, and that one's going to sail out of bounds, and it'll be Sequoia basketball as Puebla tried to get some momentum going back for Johns Creek. So 11 seconds left to go in the third. If Sequoia can get a score here to close out the third quarter, that would be a 6-minute clock for the fourth quarter.
I haven't mentioned her yet, but Erin Jackson, I know you've talked about her a couple times. She's done a really good job being the other 3-point shooter for the Chiefs.
And that one's going to go off of Blatchford as it caught her foot on the way out of bounds. So no 6-minute clock for the fourth quarter unless Sequoia can get a quick steal. They're showing press. and Blatchford all over, and Davies is going to get this one too. Davilacow with a long shot to end the quarter, and no good as that one goes off the backboard. So your score at the end of 3 here from the War Lodge, the Sequoia Chiefs 59, the Johns Creek Gladiators 30. Will, you know, I just want to shout out this Johns Creek team. Both of these teams have played with a ton of heart tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure to watch, and that's why it's a shame that it's such a,
yeah.
You know, depending on who you ask, it's such a shame that the score is so lopsided.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you know, it's one of those things where you see them on paper, and you know, when you face these region teams, you only face them one other time, so you really kind of get lost in translation where things are. But you can see that Johns Creek is really deserving of that 3rd spot in the region. It just happens that in this game they haven't been able to convert their passes, and that's been the difference there. Interested to see at the end of the game what the turnover difference will be, because Sequoia's defense has also done a really good job. Let's not act like Johns Creek's just dropping it, but the Sequoia defense doing a good job getting in the way of the passing lanes.
And if you're Johns Creek too, you know, this is their last regular season game. This is not, you know, this is not how they won, how they thought they would close out their regular season, but they will definitely be in the mix for some postseason play. And the crossover region this year for 7A, or I'm sorry, for Region 7 is going to be Region 6, which would be your Cobbs, Wheelers,
old region.
Kell, Wheeler, yeah, the old region for us old,
right?
For us old heads.
People have been here for 2 years. Yeah, that's a good region. You mentioned Kell and Pope and some teams like that. That's a good region.
Nice inside look to Blatchford, and she finishes that one. Ellie Blatchford, 24 points, makes it 61-30. And here comes Davilacow. She gets that one out to Nyla Nuri, and she's going to be fouled going to the basket, so she'll shoot 2. You know, Nyla Nuri, she only got 4 points, but it feels like Johns Creek has really been trying to implement her in their offensive game plan quite a bit.
Yeah, I think they decided that the Miller-only attempt wasn't going to work at the end of the first half, and then, you know, we mentioned Davilacow a few different times just because of her effort, but you're seeing her try and get it working as well.
So no good on the first free throw attempt by Nuri. So from 15 feet straight away, Nuri sinks the second one, and that makes it 61-31. Rogers going to take her time coming up the court. So as it seems now, Will, Sequoia looking to finish the season undefeated against against opponents outside of Cherokee County, as a nice teardrop basket falls for Aaron Jackson.
Yeah, that's quite a thing to say, especially when you consider the discrepancy between the Cherokee County and out-of-county region, obviously the records.
And that one, I think, was last touched by Blatchford. And that's what we're going to get confirmed here. So inbound pass looking to come in from Quebla. Long pass finds its way out to Davilacow. And a three-point shot by McWilliams. Is it going to get the roll? It does.
Good shot there, good look, good setup by a good few passes there by Johns Creek.
Rogers drives the lane, now kicks this one out. Jackson looked inside, but it wasn't there, and some tough defense. And Johns Creek going to get the call. As they say, as the referees say that Jackson was fouled.
Davilacow just a little bit too much contact there on the open ball.
Inbound pass finds Jackson down in the corner. She's going to step out, send this one over to Rogers. Rogers working on Davilacow. And nice pickup there by Rakestraw, and they're going to call a foul on Davilacow again. And we've got another player down on the court for Johns Creek. I think that might be Miller again. Nope.
I believe that's Gaddis. Or no, excuse me, Nuri.
So Nuri going to pop back up. Good to see, but she's going to go ahead and step out and take a breather. 6:36 left to go in the ballgame. Sequoia on top of Johns Creek, 63-34. Blatchford under the basket, no good, as she took the tough angle from underneath the basket. Now Johns Creek comes charging down the other end of the court. Miller's got this one. Now to Davilacow, who gives it right back to her. Let's see if she can make some magic happen in the paint. A little bit too much on that one. She just hasn't been the same since she's gone down from that injury.
Just been a little off since then. So hopefully by the time playoffs roll around, she'll be back to full form and full strength.
Rakestraw, the senior, going to feed Barber, and Barber puts that one off the glass and in. 65-34, Sequoia well in the driver's seat. And that one's going to be kicked by Blatchford, and the fair catch by Coach Yarborough. Couldn't tell there for a second, Will. Was that Steven Zarita who kicked that one over to Coach
Man,
Arbor?
I tell you, talking about one of the best kickers in the game, made our all-region team for football. And, yeah. Our Yarbrough showing off a little bit of athleticism there. You know, coaches can do it too.
Didn't wait for the fair catch, but he didn't have a lot of defenders around him, so I think he had a chance to set up a big return there. But
no doubt.
5:58 left to go in the fourth quarter. And Sequoia on top of Johns Creek 65-34. So Sequoia looking to secure some postseason home games here at the War Lodge, and that stifling defense. And Sequoia going to pick up a foul. I believe they called that on number 35 for the Chiefs. That's going to be Addison Gorley, the tall freshman who's been getting some regular playing time off the bench. You know, Will, another thing about the Sequoia Chiefs team, they're very young. Deep three-pointer by Nuri, and they're going to say Blatchford fouled her.
Wow.
So Blatchford picks up her first of the night, actually, and 3 free throws coming for Johns Creek. You know, they're only losing a handful of seniors off of the Sequoia Chiefs team, and some real key players coming back next year. As Blatchford, they've still got 2 more years of her. Jackson's a junior. You're going to lose Rakestraw, but Rogers is coming back as well. I think only one of your starting 5 is leaving due to graduation.
Yeah, you know, we mentioned it earlier about Cherokee County sports being homegrown. And the other thing is, because they're homegrown, they tend to get in a lot earlier. You see a lot better talent younger. It's not very often, you know, we obviously don't want to pick on a specific team, but you obviously normally don't see these North Fulton teams that have a lot of transfers come in. They typically don't have the young guys starting. They typically don't have the sophomores and freshmen and even juniors starting. It's mostly a senior game.
And as we take a timeout here on the court, I believe Johns Creek called a timeout with 5:40 left to go, 65-37, Sequoia leading the Gladiators. But, you know, Will, you touched on that, especially in all these sports. All these sports here in Cherokee County have programs put in place from the time these kids are old enough to start playing sports. You know, specifically here at Sequoia, when these kids start playing Pop Warner here in the Sequoia School District, they're playing wing T offense.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that you can see the talent progress. You know, River Ridge won the GMSAA title for football.
How good was Amir Morrison this year?
Oh man, look, I mean, he was our, we got to vote on all that at the station, and he was our player of the year. I voted for him as the player of the year, our offensive player of the year. Coach Collins does a great job over at River Ridge. We felt like in 2019 they were a couple years away. I feel like they're 1 year ahead of schedule now, and it's kind of translated. I mean, it translates to all other sports. When you do really well in one, especially as big as football, it translates. And River Ridge right now just has a lot of energy and a lot of excitement in all of their programs.
That they do, and their fan base is
very rabid
too.
Yes, they are.
They are passionate fans, and I love it. Basketball now down in the corner. Rogers has that one poked away by Davilicow, and they're going to call over and back.
I think that was more of a double dribble. She bounced it once and tried to pick it up. She didn't really have control of the dribble there, but I see why they called it, but maybe not the over and back, just a double dribble.
Either way, Johns Creek basketball. Davilicow going to take this one right over the nose of the Chiefs logo. She'll get this ball back. Davilicow, Will, an athlete that somebody we both know, Kyle Sandy, was very high on coming into this game. Said she was very athletic, shifty, and was a good passer. As a deep shot is no good. Nice rebound by Miller. She fires that one from a free throw distance. So a 15-foot two-pointer makes it 65-39 with 5 minutes left to go in the ballgame.
Can't overstate how good of a job Kyle does, covering the areas, and he has his foot on every – or thumb on every program around.
Nice drive to the basket, and Jackson drops that one in to make it 67-39. But actually, he got to sit in with us as a color analyst for some of the War Lodge Classic games, and we had a pretty good time doing that. He is, if you want to follow Georgia high school basketball, nice three-pointer there by Davilicow as she drills that three-pointer and makes it 67-42. But if you want to follow high school basketball, Kyle Sandy has done a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's a good Twitter follow for sure.
Nice pass as Gorley going to fire a three. No good, though. Blatchford on the rebound, puts that one up. No good, but she's fouled. So Blatchford with a chance to get to the quarter century mark here as she'll go to the charity stripe.
Nuri there on the foul. I mean, like we've said, part of the reason we want to mention that is because Blatchford is a sophomore. And, you know, you see young talent like that. You know, I mean, you mentioned Amir Morrison. He started as a freshman, you know, in 2018. It seems like we've been calling his name for a decade now. It's just because he's so young. Over at Cherokee, Keith Adams Jr., you know, A.J. Swan,
yeah.
Darius Harshaw, the dynamic trio. You know, Sequoia has the same thing. You know, you see a lot of these young guys, especially on the offensive line for Sequoia this year. There's a lot of youth there and names that will grow and mature into that, but it's because of the programs that they get to have in the Pop Warner and the GMS AA levels.
So Blatchford makes both of them. Nice move to the basket by Miller, but just not enough on the finish. 69-42 after Blatchford made both of her free throws. Now pushed ahead to Rogers. Blatchford gets this one. Gorley now sends it back over. Rogers pass to Blatchford, a beautiful pass. Maybe a little bit too much touch on it, and it's going to go out of bounds in Johns Creek way. But, Will, that's really been the story of the game is the Lady Chiefs' ability to pass the ball.
Yeah, and a really good job there by Meredith Hillam of Johns Creek as well, getting in the way of that, not letting Elle get to the basket and do what she wanted to do with it.
And Coach Yarbrough has put together a fine ladies basketball program here, as driving to the basket is Nuri, and that one is a foul once again. So as we get towards the end of the game, we're getting into some heavy foul territory. Don't know if this the physicality of this game is starting to take its effect on some of these young ladies, but getting sloppy here down the home stretch.
Typically when you see teams get a little bit tired, you know, the surprising thing about Sequoia is that they've still got the starters in for the most part. You know, now that I say that, they'll make a few substitutions here.
There come the freshman and Simon. So Simon and Rakestraw, this will be their final game as seniors, their final home game here at least. So what an exclamation point to go out on here, up 69-43 with 3.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. A memorable way to finish your high school basketball career. Nice look inside, and that one's going to go out of bounds and go Johns Creek's way. So Blatchford with 26 points. What a game by her tonight.
Yeah. What else can you say? I mean, when you say 26 points, it's hard to argue that. On the opposite end of that, Miller.
And not looking for the pass. Nuri didn't expect the pass coming from Davila-Cow, and that one goes right off the old noggin and out of bounds.
To finish that point, Miller has 18, so, you know, somebody that is considered the top and the best of the basketball prospect ratings there. You can see how Blatchford stacks up in that.
Simon going to fire a three, and that one goes off the side of the backboard. No good. But she's going to draw the foul, so Simon goes to the free throw line.
The thing about watching Simon is that, you know, you feel like she has a lot of fun what she's doing. She's got a big old smile on her face, you know, trying a few different threes here. Why not? And they're going to call it a floor foul. Wow. Late whistle for a floor foul.
And the inbound pass finds its way. And I think DeMauro tried to throw that one off one of the Johns Creek players, was unsuccessful. So Johns Creek going to take back over. 3:13 left to go, 69-43. Chiefs leading. Miller, you know, we get another year of this. So Sequoia is going to be in this region again next year. So this will not be the last time we see Paris Miller. And, you know, hopefully this is something that motivates that young lady and helps her to finish down the road in her senior season at Johns Creek.
Yeah, the Miller-Blatchford matchup will be a top of the card fight for sure.
Oh, definitely. In Region 7 6A, that's going to be two of the players to watch. And an inside look by Davila-Cow. Miller puts that one up, and finally getting back in the action here as Miller going to join the 20-point club as well with 2:40 left to go in the fourth quarter. 69-45, Sequoia leads.
Her first point since the very beginning of the third.
Simon, nice move inside as she goes to the basket. She'll go down hard. No call there, picked up by Nuri. And this one pushed ahead by Miller. Nice move around, and she's going to pick up the and one attempt. Miller, it's borderline poetic, Will, to watch her drive through the lane, man. She is a fantastic finisher, and she's going to have a chance here to put an extra point on the board. And
that's her second and one play, so she's really good at finishing after contact as well. That foul on DeMauro there.
So 69-47, 2 minutes and 22 seconds left. And Miller going to convert on the and one. McWilliams going to go ahead and check in. No, they didn't get the buzzer run in time. So Simon going to pick up the foul as Miller picks up her third, so 23 points for Miller and 26 for Blatchford. What a show by both of these young ladies here tonight, Will.
Yeah, no doubt Nuri checks out of the game here. I mean, that's what you want, right, is that, you know, sometimes you advertise things like this and it doesn't go that way, but the two stars have really shown here, and there's another shot.
Down hard goes Miller, but a nice job stealing the basketball. And did they call another foul on Juliana? If they did, that's her fourth. No, they gave that one.
I didn't see who the call was on there.
They gave that one to Davies. So what's going on here? I think she's going to the free throw line.
They might be in. They're not in the bonus.
Are we in the bonus now?
No. Oh yes.
Yes,
now
we are.
There
Yep,
we go.
there we go. And Sequoia looks to put some of the starters back in. They want Jackson and Rakestraw back in, as well as Rogers.
Maybe feel like things are getting a little bit out of hand, a little bit too physical.
Sequoia hasn't scored in a few minutes, and that lead is, I mean, down to 20, but there's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. As Miller going to get a chance to pick up her quarter-century point here, pending the conversion of the free throw, and it's good. So 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Sequoia's lead is down to 19. We'll take an opportunity right now to go ahead and thank some of our sponsors. Our gold level sponsor for Sequoia Basketball, Buffaloes, where everyone is family. Beato's Bar and Grill right here in Hickory Flat. Barbie Lackey Financial Group. Cycle Works Sanitation of Ball Ground, Georgia, and Food Basket Deli, home of the best Phillies in town. You know, Will, here in the South, it's really hard to find a good Philly these days.
That's quite a controversial statement there, brother. No, I tell you, you know, it's funny, you know, growing up in this area, anybody that's, I've been in Cherokee County my whole life, the amount of restaurants that have moved in, and especially, you know, think about Ball Ground, you know, when I was a kid, there was nothing there.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Dollar General. Woodstock's grown up a lot, you know,
Hickory,
downtown Canton as well.
Yeah, Hickory Flat. I mean, when I
Hickory
moved here
Flat.
in 2006, it was a Publix and a Blockbuster,
Yes.
and that was
Oh,
it.
the Blockbuster. I forgot about that. The Frosty Frog, man. That
Yep.
was the Friday night special as well.
They hadn't even built those buildings yet in 06.
Yeah. That's funny.
So back to basketball. 2:07 left to go in the fourth quarter. Sequoia 69, Johns Creek 50. Never mind, strike that as Sailor Davies lays that one up and makes it 71-50 with a minute 55 left to go. You know, Will, I think this Johns Creek team is going to be just fine. They've really shown a lot of heart tonight, a lot of physical play, and I think if they can get a second offensive option, they're going to do a fantastic job next year. Coach Call has got a lot to look forward to with this girls team.
Basketball is one of those you can't get sucked into the what have you done for me lately culture. Just because teams are going to be off. Sometimes you can't get a basket to fall. Sometimes the passing's not there. Sometimes it's just not all together. And that seems to be the case for Johns Creek tonight. It happens, but that's still a great team, still third in the region, and still have a lot to play for.
Nice look inside to Blatchford. And Blatchford, 28 points tonight, a minute and 15 left to go in the game, 73-50. Sequoia in command here in the closing moments of the ball game. Miller with a nice crossover dribble, fires that one and sinks it. You think she's trying to catch Blatchford before the game ends, Will?
Hey, thing of beauty there, 25 to 28 points, 27, excuse me. She's within one and forcing the issue.
Playing tight defense there as the ball comes over half court. Nice move inside, and Coach Yarborough says, no, thank you, I'll take a timeout with 45 seconds left to go, and the Chiefs up 21 points. Will, let's look over at this Sequoia scoreboard for a second. You know, yes, Miller's got 27 points, but at least right now, she's the only one on the floor in double digits even. But
yeah.
If we look over at Sequoia's side of the board, Rakestraw's got 16, Jackson has 13, Blatchford has 28. It has been a team effort from the top down here in what's been a high-scoring girls game in Region 7-6A.
And that's really a telltale sign of the offensive game plan and being able to defeat the defense there. You know, that's the thing about when you play a team like this. You know their star is going to score, so you just accept that. But they're not going to score 50 or 60, and you're going to be able to score more than that. So it's just about putting a whole game plan together. So you live with the fact that Miller's put up 27 so far in this one and let everything else play out, and it has so far for the Chiefs.
Rogers driving to the lane now. Davies has this one. She'll send it out to Jackson. Correction, that was Rakestraw. Davies going to get it back. And they're just playing keep away at this point as Blatchford keeping the ball away. Now the double team comes, and she'll give this one to Rakestraw, who dishes it down to Jackson in the low post. Jackson back to Davies. Sequoia is just playing hot potato at this point with the basketball. And coming in to interrupt that fun game is Nyla Nuri, who pokes that one out of bounds with 11 seconds left to go in the ball game.
Just showing the ability to pass there.
And with 5 seconds left, here comes a nice layup there by Evelina Davilikov, and that'll do it here from the War Lodge at Sequoia High School. Your final score, 73-54, as the Lady Chiefs put a big exclamation point on their final regular season home game of the year. They've got one more game after this Friday night. They will be at Etowah in a non-region matchup, so they'll play all of the Cherokee County teams this year, and Etowah no easy out either. We got to see their girls team at the War Lodge Invitational, but what a great game tonight, Will.
Yeah, it really was. Like we said, you know, the score's probably not indicative of how good of a game it was, really, but the energy was palpable on both sides. Really good job by Coach Yarbrough having the right game plan, efficient passing from the Chiefs there, and on the other end of the scoreboard, you see, obviously, Miller having 27. You knew that was coming in, but you live with that, and hard fought by Johns Creek. You know, they're still a good team, like we mentioned, getting ready for the playoffs now, and it's exciting to see them. And obviously, once you get out of the region, you want to see everybody in the region do well, because there's nothing like seeing your region advance far in the playoffs.
So one thing in closing, Will, I just want to go ahead and say thank you to everybody who watches on ChiefsTV.org, especially when it comes to keeping us in line. You know, I got a note here that I guess we've been confusing Callie Gaddis and Sophia DeMauro all night. So we want to make sure we give those ladies their due credit. They have done a fantastic job and played a great game. We apologize for getting the numbers wrong. We will take that into the next game and try to do better with that. But thank you, everyone who joins us on Chiefs TV. You make this all worthwhile. Cherokee County loves their sports, and we want to thank you all so much for watching. And we hope you'll join us for the boys game coming up here. Will, what are we looking forward to in this boys game?
Man, I tell you, you know, you're talking about turning over the lineup card, so to speak, and the one thing you see is that Johns Creek a little bit down. 8-12 record so far, 6th in region, 7-6A. There's not much for them to play for in the way of playoffs, but don't tell them that, because they're going to be looking to play spoiler here as Sequoia comes in 13-10, sitting 4th right now, but Creekview right on their tail, so they're really going to have to pick things up and keep things rolling through the next 2 games that they've got. Important note, Johns Creek 2-4 away from home floor advantage. Sequoia 6-3 here at the War Lodge. So good bit of news there for Sequoia faithful coming into this one. Just something to keep your eye out for.
And we'll leave the rest of those storylines for the boys basketball game. Once again, your final score here from the War Lodge. The Lady Chiefs take down the Johns Creek Gladiators 73-54. I'm Chase Schaefer. Joining me is Will Cooper. Thank you, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the War Lodge here as we are getting set for the Sequoia High School varsity boys basketball matchup between the Johns Creek High School Gladiators. I'm Will Cooper, and I'm joined alongside Chase Schaefer here on ChiefsTV.org, also on the Chiefs TV YouTube page as well. Thank you all for being with us, and Chase, thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Absolutely, Will. It's been a pleasure. We had a fun time during that girls basketball game, and I hope this boys game doesn't disappoint either.
No doubt about it. A lot of energy in that one. As we mentioned, Sequoia coming into this one fourth in the region, really need a win here tonight to ensure that they have a chance at a playoff game. They will also be back Friday night as they play Centennial, a really good basketball program as well, so keep your eye out for that one coming up in just a few days. On the other side of the coin, Johns Creek 6th in the region, and unfortunately for them, falling a little bit behind, 8-12 overall, but still a lot of fight left in this team, led by McCray Ball, a junior, 6'4", somebody to keep your eye on throughout the night. And over on the other side of the card, somebody that I really enjoy watching is Dylan Wally, somebody that has shot for an incredible amount of points and also very efficient as a scorer. So we will keep an eye out for both of those guys tonight.
Well, yeah, Will. Wally's going to have a big night tonight. This Sequoia Chiefs offense is predicated off the fact that they can shoot the outside shot. They're going to need it tonight. You know, you're going to need big contributions from other players like Kyle Keener, Fisher Mitchell, Aiden Watson. These guys all average double digits, and they're going to need every bit of those double-digit point outputs tonight.
No doubt about that as they're getting ready to announce the lineups. Coming out, Caleb Riley, the guard junior, as well as Mohammed Mbai, the senior, 6'5" forward. Number 12, that's Colin Brandis, a junior, 6 foot. And McCray Ball coming out, junior, 6'4", we mentioned him. And number 34, Aiden Temple, a forward, will really kind of play as the center, being a big guy, sophomore, 6'5" as well. As the lights go out here in the War Lodge to introduce the Sequoia Chiefs. Good crowd on hand tonight, obviously limited due to COVID restrictions as well. Very good job by the Sequoia High School program taking care of all of that. Coming out for them now, Aiden Watson, the senior, 6'4", 180 pounds. One of the leaders on this team. Got to talk to him at halftime of last game. Connor Harris coming out, junior, 6'5". We mentioned Dylan Wally coming out here, junior, 6'3", 165, really the shooter of this one. Number 10, Kyle Keener coming out as well, 6'1", 160. And then Fisher Mitchell will be playing center tonight, 6'4", 190, a big-bodied young man, probably put on a little bit of weight on that 190 frame.
You know, Will, a couple other guys to look after. Preston Parker is going to be big for this team off the bench. He's been more of a utility man throughout the course of the season, but look for him to be a big role coming off the bench for the Sequoia Chiefs tonight. And, Will, you know, another thing, a loss here tonight really muddies the water for the Sequoia Chiefs. They're going to have to get this win tonight in order to keep pace with Creekview in the region.
Right you are. We're set for the game. Johns Creek inbounds it, moves it up to the floor. Brought up a good block there by number 22, Fisher Mitchell, as you mentioned. That was Mohammed Mbai bringing it up the court. Falls out of bounds. And it was out on Sequoia, so it'll be inbounded by number 12 for Johns Creek, Colin Brandis. Surveys.
And it looks like Watson already picked up a foul. I think they called a push-off on him.
Wow. That ball is up to Keener. Sets up the offense, dances around a little bit. Coverage on him by Caleb Riley. Dishes it out to the outside. That's for Wally, the shooter of the game. Dishes it out to Fisher. Back to Keener. Spin move by Wally. Out to Harris. Harris going to keep it here for a minute, try and set something up. Good defense from Johns Creek so far in this one.
Sequoia really taking their time, letting this one get set up in order to put some points on the board early against the Gladiators.
Quality looks versus quantity of looks, it seems, so far in this one. Still moving the ball. Good possession here. Inside drive by Fisher off the rim and taken by Johns Creek.
Not so sure somebody didn't get a hand on that one. It looked like the shot trajectory was a little bit off. Let's see what Sequoia can do on defense.
That one's on the outside, and a great open shot by Aiden Temple, out and in as they're up by 3 here. Keener takes it up to the floor. Fisher gets it back. Kept by Aiden Watson. As we mentioned, a senior, got to talk to him at halftime of the girls' game. A good drive, and he finishes it and brings them back within a point.
Very pretty inside move there by Aiden Watson. That's been his bread and butter all season. They're going to need a big game as he's matched up with a big guy down low here tonight.
Handed over to Brandis and then off to McCray Ball. And that pass intended for Aiden Temple, just out of the reach of the 6'5" sophomore, and it'll be Sequoia ball.
But that big foul earlier on by Aiden Watson, the first 10 seconds of the game already looming. Going to have to be careful. Sequoia going to need at least one person to help maintain that inside presence against a team that's got some length down low.
Refs were pretty loose in the girls' game, allowing them to play, but a very well-called game. Wally drives, and it's going to be a foul on number 12, Brandeis. So Johns Creek picks up their first foul of the game. And it looks like Wally will be the one to inbound it, and he does to Fisher. Back out to Watson. Back to Wally. Drive, and a good open shot, and it's up and in by Harris. And a back and forth call against Johns Creek on the inbound, so it'll be Sequoia ball under the net. Big
turnover there by Johns Creek. Not how they wanted to start the game, as Temple got a little bit of a head start inbounding the basketball. Sequoia going to take over.
Keener gets it out, and Johns Creek's going to take back possession. Look out. Dished all the way to McCray ball at the end, and it falls off the rim. Wally with good defense. Brought up the side by Keener.
Good recovery there by the Chiefs, as it almost looked like a wasted opportunity that Johns Creek was going to take down the court, but a good job recovering there.
Wally spins, dishes it out to Watson, but it's out of bounds, and Johns Creek will take back over.
So Johns Creek playing really tight defense here in the beginning of this game, Will, not letting Sequoia get any space because they know how dangerous that backcourt is. They can start firing three-pointers and shoot the lights out of the building.
McCray takes it up the court here. He's matched up against Wally. And that pass a little errant.
Nice steal.
Watson coming up the floor, got one man to beat, puts a shoulder into him, and it'll be a blocking foul going to the line for two. The shot no good, but Sequoia has a chance to go up by three here.
High risk there for Aiden Watson. If he'd have picked up the offensive foul, that would have been two fouls here in the first quarter of play, but instead he's going to go to the charity stripe. A good job there by the senior Watson.
He's at the stripe, and the first one is up and in. So a 2-point lead so far for the Chiefs with 5:28 left here to go in the first period. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on a Tuesday night. Lots of options for your entertainment. We're glad that we are one of it. And there's your choice in, as they are now up by 3. It's 6-3. Number 11 will check into the game for Connor Harris. That's Nick Lee coming in, the senior, 5'9", 145, another young man we got to talk to at halftime. This one dished out and brought back. Advanced up, there's ball. Tries to make a couple people miss, and he does. Wow, what a great shot on the outside.
Nice movement there. They let him get away with maybe an extra step there, but a beautiful look into the lane as he laid that one up and finished it nice off the boards to draw them within one.
Maybe the belief the Euro step doesn't count towards the travel. Good extended play. What a shot outside by Kyle Keener. We gave all the attention to Wally, but an absolute dime from outside.
Plenty more where that came from. A long night ahead for Johns Creek if both Keener and Wally get hot. And
off the hand of ball, tried to dish it back to Wally. Keener brings it back up. Now to Watson. Hand it back to Watson. Drive on the outside, good defense there by Mbai, keeping him on the inside. Fisher tries to set up a little bit of a screen, now takes it back inside, and it rolls off the rim, fighting for it, but it'll end up with Johns Creek.
It didn't work that time, Will, but that's something that Sequoia really likes to do. They love that give and go where Mitchell throws it out at the high post and then cuts to the basket and gets it back. We'll see if they can start making those stick and if Mitchell can start putting the ball in the basket.
You see from Johns Creek that Temple is a big part of the offensive game plan. Right now the pass is just not landing for them as he hands the ball off to Nick Lee. Back to Fisher. Out to Wally. Good passing here from Sequoia, good movement, long drives, Keener up, and it's in, as they're up by 6 here with just over 4 minutes left. Setting up a little bit of backcourt defense, and off the hand of Keener.
Another thing Sequoia will do, they'll throw that press on you at random times throughout the game to see if you're asleep at the wheel or not. That time it almost worked for the Chiefs.
McCray wide open, gets the inbound, and that was intended for the forward once again. It's out. And here comes Watson, and it's in. What a move by Aiden Watson on the inside.
Will, we talked about it earlier. Watson going to have a big night in order for the Chiefs to be successful. So far, so good here at the War Lodge.
McCray ball gets it. Hands it back up. Outside shot for Mbai, and that's way wide, and that'll be taken by Nick Lee up the court. Take a little time, set up the offense, dish it back out to Keener, and then out to Wally. And then back out to Watson. He's got an open three. He takes it, and it's in. Watson on fire here early at 16-5.
Already with 9 points is Aiden Watson. We said that he's in his last 2 games in the regular season here at the War Lodge, having a good one so far.
No doubt about that. Quick return from Johns Creek. Things moving quite fast here. Fisher, open three, take it, and it's in. Bang!
This is not what you want if you're Johns Creek. Wally hasn't even fired a three-pointer yet, and Sequoia's already up by 12 because of the long ball. Going to be a long night for Johns Creek if they can't shut down that perimeter shooting.
Good job by Fisher Mitchell to take that one on the defensive side. Shot up by Keener. It's way off. Out to Watson, out to Wally. You mentioned him. There it is, and it's in.
And we just talked about it, and Johns Creek going to take a timeout here. They're going to have to recuperate as Sequoia has been electric from beyond the arc here in the first quarter, Will. It's been an amazing thing to watch as Wally's only hit 1 3, but this is not something that Johns Creek wants. They do not want to get into a shootout with these Sequoia Chief shooters because when they get hot, they are red hot.
And really not doing well running against the press on the backside. They've been able to do that. And the big thing is, as I mentioned, Aiden Temple is the forward for these, or excuse me, the center really for these young men at a 6'5" frame. And right now he's just having a hard time catching some of the passes intended for him. They want to try and get it inside but can't do it. And Sequoia on the opposite end doesn't need to take it inside when you shoot threes like they do, doing a great job.
And, Aiden Watson said it in our interview with him at halftime. He had to get that new haircut to kind of keep it fresh. Well, man, get a new haircut before every single game because you are having a fantastic start of this game.
Already at 9 points with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in this one. This will be brought up by Wayner and then dished back out to Brandis. And brought up by Temple. Back, shot up, and it's off the rim. Good rebound by Watson.
Johns Creek going to have to find a way to get inside on this Sequoia defense because they don't have the perimeter game that Sequoia's got.
Wally, and then it's back out to Keener, and then back out to Lee. Lee surveys, finds Fisher, another open three at the very top of the key, just off on that one. And Johns Creek coming up with this one, and a great pass. And that one connects. Aiden Temple, the dish from Colin Brandis there.
What a pass by Brandis and a great finish by Temple. That's going to be all more of what Johns Creek's going to need here to crawl back into this one.
Watson with 2 guys on him, and it's in. What a unbelievable shot that falls, and the three-point play in effect.
We talked about this in the halftime interview with Aiden Watson. Coaches, he's still available for post-high school basketball. What an offense. What a player down low in the paint. He's physical. He's finessey. Turns around, finishes nice, and does a fantastic job of playing in the paint. And he's already in double-digit scoring here. A minute and 49 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Will.
No kidding. 6'4", 180 pounds, so plenty of size on the young man. Obviously, as we mentioned, a senior. High school and coaches rave about him. Time for college coaches to do the same. Another great effort by him on the backside. Johns Creek misses the shot, brought up by Wally, going to drive to the basket, and it just rolls off the rim, and a foul there.
Wally going to go to the line here for Sequoia. Blocking foul on number 12, Brandis.
Brandis, we've had his name mentioned quite a bit, but it hasn't been positive so far in this one. I believe that will be It is his second foul so far, so a little bit of foul trouble as we're here in the first quarter.
Shout out to the sophomore point guard for Johns Creek, Ethan Wayner. He is running at 100% up and down the court every time, and he was really the one that set up Temple on that nice pass and layup combination. But Johns Creek, a long way to go if they're going to get back into this one. Sequoia playing like a team possessed in the first quarter of this ballgame.
And Wayner, as we mentioned, a young man, a sophomore, 5'8". As he stands next to Preston Parker, who's 6'2". You can see the height discrepancy there. And the free throws are in and good. So 9-27 here. And they will set up a backcourt defense. That one is inbounded. And it's off of his hands, and it's going to be fielded here by the Chiefs. Look out. Three is up, and it's just off the rim. That shot by Harris. And a foul.
Wally a little aggressive trying to get that offensive rebound. I think he went over the back of Wayner. So that's the one that they're going to get. And stepping into the ballgame for the Chiefs is Matthew Traynor.
Name I'm familiar with from some football games this year. Young quarterback for the team, but an all-around athlete, also plays safety. And speaking of that, good effort, just couldn't get it in. And now there's a scrum for the ball. And it looks like this will be a jump ball most likely, and it is.
Johns Creek having a really hard time breaking that Sequoia press. It's got them searching for answers here in the first quarter. Sequoia with 2 straight turnovers on 2 straight presses.
So possession arrow in favor of the Chiefs, so they will retain it here. Keener will try and inbound it, and he does. That was to Trainer, the inbound. Back to Trainer at the top of the key, and then back to Keener. Good setup here. Another 3 attempts by Harris, and that one is in. 21-point lead here for the Chiefs.
Pour it on, Chiefs, 30-9 with a minute left to go in the first quarter. This is Johns Creek's got to figure something out here. They've got to put the ball in the basket.
And open shot there, and that one doesn't fall. So it'll be taken up by Trainer. Trainer will try and drive a little bit, finds a little bit of a hole, but it's back out to Harris, and that's another open one. That one's for 2. So 9-32.
Will, I've noticed something here in the first quarter. Sequoia is cleaning up on the glass both offensively and defensively. Johns Creek has 1 shot. If they don't make it, it's going back the other way. Sequoia 2 or 3 attempts each time.
Watson up and a dunk. Posters in. Wow, Watson, the athlete.
Watson jumped from about 10 feet away to get that one as well, and we'll get a whistle.
Just what you want to see. Watson will check out of the game here, being replaced by Fisher Mitchell once again.
Watson deserves that break, though. 14 points in the first quarter and 20 seconds left to go. This is everything you wanted if you're a Chiefs fan.
Good shooting so far. And we've got a whistle here. And they're discussing the clock, I believe. Is that what you?
Yeah, I think the official wants to put it back at 23 seconds. There we go. We got it right now, as he was all over the scorer's table before they even inbounded the ball.
So Lee checks back into the game here for Keener. This one back out to Wayner, excuse me, as we mentioned. And that one's dished out to Brandeis. And it's up and just shy. So just 15 seconds left. They're going to try and set something up here at the end. That one's to Parker. Back to Fisher. Back to Lee. Going to run the clock down here. Open by Parker. And that one's in from the top of the key. Sequoia can't be stopped right now. And that shot is off the rim almost. What an exciting first game we've got, or first period I should say we've got here, with a score of 37-9 as we welcome you back into the broadcast booth. Welcome to Chiefs TV. I am Will Cooper. I'm joined alongside Chase Schaefer. Chase, if you're the Chiefs, what could you ask for?
This is ideal situation. I mean, you could not ask for a better opening quarter. You scored 37 points in the first quarter of a high school basketball game. You got one player who's already at, I believe, 14 points in Aiden Watson and an exclamation point dunk. You know, you look down at the bench right now. Coach Carden not even talking to the boys right now, just letting them rest. He's saying, what do you say to your team when they're up 37-9 at the end of the first quarter? I mean, this has just been a fantastic start, especially that defensive press game of the Sequoia Chiefs. They have the Gladiators completely reeling, and they are on the ropes at this moment. Johns Creek really going to have to battle back here if they're going to get it, if they're even going to make this a competitive game.
Yeah, as you heard, maybe you heard it, the slamming of the clipboard from the Johns Creek side there. So the two ends of the tails there as we get set for the second quarter of action with the score here 37-9. Once again, thank you for allowing us to be part of your Chiefs broadcast, allowing us to be part of your entertainment for a Tuesday night here. Sequoia set, trying to get into the playoffs here as they're in the 4th spot here. If they win this one, they're in a pretty good position as they will host Centennial, although there is a little bit at play depending on what Creekview is able to do with their last game. But John Creek inbounds it here. Wayner will take it up the court. Good coverage by Lee there, and it's dished back out. And that one is for Temple for a 3, but it's short. Johns Creek's just been a little short so far in this one.
So Johns Creek going to have to do a better job of getting some offensive rebounds. The shots aren't falling, but like I said earlier, they're only getting one chance at a shot, and then Sequoia takes it right back down the other way.
Fisher Mitchell gets this one. Handed back off to Trainer and back to Lee. And a little bit of a movement there under the basket, and there's going to be an open 3 shot, and it's going to be just to the left. That was Connor Harris there on the attempt. Coming back the other way is Johns Creek, but good defense by Lee. But it looks like, I believe Johns Creek will retain the ball.
I thought for a second that one went off of him by, but
I thought so too, but obviously they see it better than we do since they're right next to the action there. And Caleb Riley will inbound this one, and that one's back all the way out to Brandeis. Or excuse me, that is a McCray ball there.
Again, another rebound by the Chiefs after one shot. Let's see what Watson's got going on here for the Chiefs.
Watson back in, but Parker's going to try his hand at it. Watson almost gets the rebound out from under him by. This one's driven up and a chance by Johns Creek, but falls off the left-hand side. Back out to Lee. Got a one-man to beat, and what a move! The Euro step works! Sequoia trying everything on offense, and it's working to perfection. Sequoia setting up a little bit of a soft back zone.
Sequoia up 30 with 6.5 minutes left to go until halftime. And make that 40.
Here comes Parker, open layup, and he nails it. Wow.
This is, wow. Wow says it, Will. I don't, there's not much analysis we can give here.
Mbai hammers home a three from outside to finally end the run. So it's 12-41 as you see at the bottom of your screen. Lee goes under the basket. Good effort there by Wayner. And this will be brought up by Riley. Riley trying to set something up. Sequoia playing really good defense on the outside. Mbai from the exact same spot he took the first one, but that one falls. And back to Mbai under the net. And back the other way. And now back to the outside by Wayner.
Will, that was the first time since the early part of the first quarter that Johns Creek's going to get a second shot on an offensive possession.
And that one is up, and a little bit of a scrum underneath the net. Somehow he got it out there and back out to the outside. And good effort there by Johns Creek, able to put two back on the board. That one really by Wayner, trying to get his own rebound there. Did a good job.
Johns Creek starting to do a little bit better job of cleaning up the offensive glass. They're going to need that because they've got a tall mountain to climb to get back into this one.
Sequoia's job to keep him under that mountain. As this one will be back out to Aiden Watson, the star of the show so far, as he drives close to the net, dishes it back out, really to no man's land. And it's saved there by Parker. Parker's going to have to go to the backside here, and he'll just let it roll as far as he can before having to take the backcourt violation.
Not so sure that one didn't get poked. I thought one of the Johns Creek players got a hand on it, and if that one gets poked back across the other side, I believe that's not an over and back, but officials seeing it a little bit differently here, so Johns Creek going to keep the ball in their own end.
5 minutes left to play here in this one. And the dish is up and under, and by wide open, right under the baseline.
Nice pass by Wayner, the no-look pass, and he shoots it over and gets 2 points out of it. An excellent job there by Wayner.
Back to the outside to Parker, and Wally back in the game here, and a travel called on him. His foot slipped out from under him, had to take an extra step. And Johns Creek battling back a little bit here. Trainer will check back into the game, replacing Preston Parker.
You know, Will, the scary thing about what's happening here tonight is the last time these two teams played, Johns Creek won by 12 points.
Well, like we mentioned in the first game, sometimes basketball teams just don't have it, but it seems like the Chiefs have the shooting tonight as their eye is right on. Sequoia playing good defense here. Johns Creek going to try a three from range. Didn't work. Watson the rebound. Brought up here, makes a man miss. What a move by Watson. Gets up under the basket to Trainer, and there's going to be a foul. Tried the three-point play. Shot didn't fall, so they'll go to the line for two.
Sequoia making an emphatic push for that fourth and final state playoff spot with a huge lead here on the Johns Creek Gladiators.
Obviously don't want to look ahead, but Friday night they have a big matchup against Centennial, one of the top 10 teams in 6A. As Trainer tries just off the front of the net there. Trainer's played a few minutes here, but has yet to get a point on the board. Aiden Watson with 14, as we mentioned, hasn't scored since the beginning run here.
Yeah, Trainer, the sophomore, he's a multi-sport athlete, and he's definitely still developing as a basketball player, but a big piece of this Sequoia Chiefs team coming off the bench for Coach Cardin's Chiefs.
And he hits one home, so it's 42-16. This one brought up here. Fisher in defense. That one's dished back out to the forward. That was Tyler Gibson, the junior, 6'5", trying to make it work, didn't. And that one's underneath, and that one will be out of bounds on Watson, I believe.
Looked a little bit like the defender was helping lead him out of bounds, a little bit of a hip check. But, you know, like the girls' game, it was a very physical game, and the officials let them play. So it looks like they're going to continue calling it the exact same way here in the first half of this 7A, Region 7 6A matchup.
As long as it's fair, that's all you can ask for.
They've done a really good job here tonight.
They have. Open three look there for Wayner. Didn't fall. Brought up to Wally on the outside. He's going to throw it all the way back to Watson. Good pass, finding him on the top of the key. And there's a foul on 14 there. McCray ball. So it's on the floor. So Fisher Mitchell will take this inbound here, and he dumps it right off to Watson here, and then back to Lee. And then back, and just off a little bit. That was Kyle Keener on the attempt. Lee is going to be fouled on the floor once again, and that was David Alexander, the first time we've called his name tonight.
Senior forward Sequoia. The Guns have gone a little bit more silent here in the second quarter, but still a huge lead for the Chiefs here at the War Lodge.
Picking up 2 fouls on this possession so far, though. Oh, man, Watson wanted the dunk but had to come down to get it. It was a good pass, though. Found it underneath in the baseline. Wally tries to drive here, surrounded by 3 Johns Creek players. This one back for Fisher, and just a little bit off as he tried the 3. They're coming back the other way.
Law of averages starting to come into effect here for the Chiefs.
Wide open 3 for Temple, and that one is in and good. So 19-42 here, and Coach Carden's going to take a timeout and talk things over with his Chiefs.
Well, while we've got a quick moment of rest in the action, we're going to go ahead and thank some sponsors real quick. I want to thank you guys for supporting and all that you do in support of Sequoia basketball and Cherokee County athletics. Our gold level sponsor this year is Buffalo's. That's the Buffalo's in Riverstone Parkway in Canton. Buffalo's, where everyone is family. Our black level sponsors, Food Basket Deli, home of the best Phillies in town, Cycle Works Sanitation of Ball Ground, Georgia, the Barbie Lackey Financial Group, and Beato's Bar and Grill here in Hickory Flat. Will, Sequoia has come down a little bit from that cloud in the first quarter, but still in a commanding position here as we come back from the timeout.
And they picked up a lot of fouls there as well, so something to keep your eye on as well as we take you back to the floor here for the action. And this one's brought up by Kyle Keener here.
Nice inside move to Wally there. A beautiful pass, and Wally with a nice finish.
So this one is highly contested there. Doyle gets it outside. And, in and out for Riley. And there's going to be a foul at the baseline. And that was on number 15, I believe, David Alexander. So second time we've called him tonight, his second foul.
Johns Creek shifting that defensive focus a lot to Aiden Watson. You see a lot of double teams, especially when he comes down with the basketball. As many times as he's come down with rebounds, we got to be wondering if he's getting close to double-double territory here in the first half. Not sure exactly how many rebounds he has, but it seems like every time the ball comes down on the defensive end, he's got it.
That's what you want it for. Wally with another 3. That's only his second one of the game. That one doesn't fall. The first one did. Brought up here by Johns Creek. Going to set up the offense here. That one's Alexander. And then dished back out. Coming back to the top of the key. That one's back to Wayner. And then back to Ball. And either going to be a travel or a foul. And they're going to call it a foul. Wow, it really should have been a travel there, you have to feel like, but ends up being a foul there. Coach Carden arguing his point.
Yeah, it definitely looked like about 3 steps there before they finally called the foul on Kyle Keener.
So Alexander will inbound it here for Johns Creek. Lots of discussion here. And the inbound here. Back to Wayner. Highly contested, but he gets it. Delivered back out to the top of the key. Ball. And that one's off to the side.
Wayner, such a scrappy player for this Johns Creek team. I love the intensity and the energy that he's bringing to the game. Hopefully he can get some more of his shots to fall, but really like his style of play. And Sequoia hit with a travel after 1 step.
So Fisher Mitchell there called for the travel. So kind of hard to see the travel on the backside there, but they call it as they see it. So McCray ball will inbound this for Johns Creek. And that one's brought all the way up for him by, and then delivered back out to Wayner. Wide open 3 for Temple, and that one doesn't fall. 1 for 3 from the three-point line for him, Wally. And he's going to try another 3. That's going to be his third. That one doesn't fall either. 1 for 3 from the three-point line. And the open ball brought in by Connor Harris, back out to Kyle Keener. And then back out to Wally. Wally from 2-point range. That one finally falls in. So 46-19 here with 1:30 left to go.
Good. Wally needs to start building that confidence because he hasn't had a lot of shots fall tonight, and that's a big part of the Sequoia Chiefs offense is his ability to hit that outside jumper.
Mbai missed it, tried to get it back inside, and he does to Temple. Temple misses it again. 2 missed shots for Johns Creek. Sequoia takes back over. Brought up here for Watson. Dish back out to Wally from the other side, and that's a three that'll fall. He's 2 for 4 from the three-point line tonight.
We just said that Dylan Wally starting to find that range, and that spells trouble for Johns Creek if Wally starts lighting it up from beyond the arc.
And by here makes a few people miss, working on Fisher, and that's a good put up by him, 22-49. Lee going to the scorer's table to check back in. Wide open three from Watson, missed it. 40 seconds left here to go. Johns Creek will try to set this up to McCray Ball. And open three, bad look.
Johns Creek really needs to slow this down. This is not what they want. They don't want to get into a track meet. They don't want to get into a three-point shooting contest with the Chiefs.
Or how about a three-point play from Watson, fouled there with the 2 in and good.
Watson, Aiden Watson with some grown man minutes tonight. He has been all over the court and using that size to his advantage and just imposing his will on this Johns Creek team down in the paint.
Senior Nick Lee will check into the game for Connor Harris, the junior, 6'5", 185 pounds. Mentioned Aiden here. And three-point play is up and good. So Sequoia takes a 31-point lead with only 30 seconds left here to go in the second. A few more substitutions come in at the end of this one. As we'll see Jaden Doyle for the first time. Preston Parker comes back into the game. Eric Fisher remains on the floor.
Johns Creek really needs to put together a nice offensive possession here to close out the half to give them a little bit of a confidence boost going to the locker room.
Good move there.
That'll do
Caleb
it.
Riley. 23-52, 15 seconds left. See what Sequoia can set up. Jalen Doyle trying to set something up. Open look, wide open look for Lee. He takes it, and it's off the front of the rim. Fisher brings it down. 2 seconds left to go, and it's up and just short. Aiden Watson wasn't able to convert it, but that'll bring us to halftime. The score is 23-52 here at the War Lodge in favor of the Sequoia Chiefs.
So, Will, we're going to talk to Juliana Simon here, talk a little bit about that girls' game that we saw earlier. But, you know, more of the same. The girls' game was very, very lopsided, and it didn't feel lopsided. But the boys' game is very lopsided, and it feels lopsided. You know, Sequoia 37 points in the first half as they shot the lights out of the building and held Johns Creek to 9 points. You know, what more can we say? What more can we analyze about this game? Sequoia has just been shooting the lights out of the building and has been unstoppable.
I'll step out here and let you complete your interview, and I'll meet you guys back here for a little bit later in halftime. Enjoy the interview.
Thank you so much, Will. Joining us in the booth, senior guard for the Sequoia Lady Chiefs, Juliana Simon. Juliana, you have got to be thrilled with the way that game went tonight.
Absolutely. That was a great game by all. My whole team put in great effort, and we played team ball and moved the ball very well.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. You know, that was a very physical game. There were people all over the floor. You guys did an excellent job of sacrificing the body to get those loose basketballs, and it really showed on the scoreboard at the end of the night.
Yeah, I agree. My team definitely, I think we should get, like, some type of award for the hustle we have. I mean, like, we all literally went, like, after each loose ball, and, like, I guess the refs just didn't want to call it jump ball.
Well, they were letting you guys play a very, very physical style of basketball, and for old heads like me, it's a lot of fun to watch when you get to see physical basketball being played and the referees letting them play, because, you know, it gets frustrating from a fan's perspective. Every little call, every little touch has to be a foul nowadays, but this officiating crew did a good job of letting you guys play through. But let's transition for a second and shift gears. Senior year, what a way to close out your senior regular season here at Sequoia High School.
Yeah, absolutely. I made a lot of good memories, and there's been a lot of nice games here on the home floor, but definitely, like, to beat Johns Creek and to play, like, hard especially, that definitely, like, it's a nice end.
Yes, it was. So, you know, you've been in this program for a while, Juliana. This has to be different, playing your senior year with half crowds, you know, at best. What's that like, playing your final season of basketball, high school basketball, in a stadium that's this empty?
It's definitely weird because, like, definitely, like, the student section, like, hypes you up, like, absolutely, especially when it's, like, a close game, like, everybody's really rowdy and stuff, and, like, for, like, them to like limit the like amount of like parents that can come in, because you know the parents are like so into it. It's definitely like really weird, but I mean, I guess I kind of gotten used to it. But like I'm not gonna lie, like it's definitely something that like takes time to get used to.
So Juliana, what's the plans after graduation?
So the plan is to go to Georgia Coastal and hopefully walk on to play basketball there and major in radiology.
So if you were trying to give the coaches of that basketball program there kind of like a pitch, what would you say about your game as something that they need to have on their basketball team?
I would say I'm really fast. I'm really good at pickpocketing people on defense. I'm really good with my hands and on my feet. I mean, I'm really aggressive. I can get to the lane pretty good.
Yeah, we had a chance to talk with Coach Ryan earlier in the season in one of our halftime interviews, and she was singing the praises of your defensive game, and it's been a joy to watch. You're definitely one of the squirrely players there in the defensive backcourt, I guess you'd call it. But we have really enjoyed watching you play this season, and congratulations. I hope you girls make a lot of hay in the postseason, and we can make a deep playoff push this year. Yeah. Thank you so much, Juliana, for joining us. Anything you want to say in closing? Any shout-outs you want to give?
I hope all the future people have a great time playing on the home floor, and definitely don't take it for granted because it's going to go by really fast. So,
Juliana Simon, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back after a short break here from the War Lodge, where your score is Sequoia 52, Johns Creek 23. Thank you, and we will be right back here on Chiefs TV after a short intermission.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the War Lodge, and welcome back to ChiefsTV.org or the Chiefs TV YouTube page. I am Will Cooper, joined alongside Chase Schaefer. We've got a good one here for you. Sequoia up 52-23 over Johns Creek, and the second game of tonight, the boys' game so far in this one, and it's really been down to Sequoia being able to shoot.
And they have come prepared to accomplish that mission as they shot the lights out of the building. A 37-point first quarter, and Aiden Watson had 14 of them. I think almost everybody on the floor at one point in time hit a three-pointer for the Chiefs. I mean, even the big man, Fisher Mitchell, and the other big man, Aiden Watson, were starting to find their range from beyond the arc, and it was total domination in the first half. You know, like we said at the end of the first quarter, Coach Carden didn't even tell the boys anything. He just kind of stood back and let them get a breather. You know, but on the other side of the bench, Johns Creek coach was giving the boys an earful, so let's see if Sequoia can keep up the pressure here as we go into the second half.
We take you back down to the floor here for the second half of action as Fisher Mitchell will bring this one in, pass it up to Kyle Keener, and back outside to Wally. Wally back to Keener. Makes a couple people miss. Back out to the top of the key, back under to Fisher. And pass for Wally errant, and that's backcourt. So not the opening possession that Sequoia wanted to start here.
But it is the opening possession that Johns Creek definitely wanted. That defense needs a big definitely needs a big ego boost here to get this one underway in the second half.
No doubt about that. Big score deficit here as that one is under to Riley, and then back outside to Ball. Ball hammers home, and that's another two-pointer, looks like.
That's what Johns Creek needed. Johns Creek's going to have to play some stifling defense here. Now they've already gone back to playing loose defense, but that's what they needed to start this quarter.
Outside attempt there, and hammers it home. Harris on the outside as the lead is extended back to 29 points for the Chiefs. And Riley will take it here, dish it back out to Brandeis. Back under to Temple. Back out to Brandeis. All the way over to Riley. Riley with a three-point shot, and it's going to be just inside. And it'll be brought up by Keener. Back out to the other side. That's Watson, the hero of the first half, with a posterizing dunk. And handed back out to Wally. He'll try to drive it underneath. That's going to be a foul committed by Brandeis.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive on the defense there. I know Johns Creek wanted to come out of the locker room and play some really tight defense, especially on Dylan Wally, the Sequoia Chiefs sharpshooter, but a little bit too aggressive. They're going to draw the foul.
Fisher this time back out to Watson and back underneath the Fisher. Playing some harder defense here, as you mentioned. Watson going to try and drive here once on. And just off the front of the rim, good defense there by Mbai. Mbai will bring it back up himself. Out to Ball. And back underneath the Brandeis. Back outside to Temple. And then back to Riley. Side here. Keener in defense. And a wide open look from Ball. And he hammers it home, his second three so far.
Johns Creek starting to find that rhythm a little bit from beyond the arc. They're going to need to keep that up, but I don't know that they're going to be able to get into a shootout with the Chiefs.
Wide open look for Fisher, doesn't fall, but a good rebound underneath by Harris. Another shot put up, that one doesn't fall, and Mbai's going to take it up the court. Look out, Watson coming up from behind. That pass intended for Brandeis falls out of bounds. And did a Sequoia player touch it last?
Yeah, well, Harris got a little bit of a hand on it as it went out of bounds.
Okay. That's why they call the games and I just talk about it. Riley here to the outside. Brandeis once again. Good powerful move, and it falls in for Temple.
Let's see this defensive strategy that Johns Creek goes with. To start the second half, they've really been leaning on Aiden Watson pretty hard. Let's see if he stays high or if he starts trying to pound the paint again.
Watson to Wally. Whistle stopped the shot. And a foul on number one.
Watson picks up another foul. That's his second, but I think they might have got him with a moving screen.
The call was a... Now, Carden's going to ask a question about this. But nonetheless, the play will continue here. Riley to Mbai. Johns Creek not shooting nearly as efficiently, but working the ball inside so far in the second half. That's to McCray Ball. Good defense by Wally, but he's going to pick up a foul. He'll go to line for two.
That's Wally's second. You know, only 5 minutes we're not out of the woods just yet as the Chiefs. I'm not saying it's time to panic, but you know, your lead is, and it feels weird saying that with a 24-point lead, but Johns Creek definitely came out of the locker room with some momentum here.
Certainly doesn't feel like the lead should be as big as it is, but that's why they play the game. McCray ball hammers home one, so still a 23-point lead, as you alluded to. Once again, thank everybody for tuning in here on Chiefs TV on this Tuesday night, a beautiful day today. Rain coming later in the week as well, but we appreciate everybody choosing us for your Tuesday night entertainment. Hammers home the second one. It's 33-55, 22-point lead, brought up by Keener. Makes a man miss, and going to be a foul on Caleb Riley that time. So seems like they're calling the game a little bit more tight here in the second half.
Yeah, I'm not sure what changed in between games. The girls game looked like an episode of American Gladiators, and the boys aren't even allowed to hand check here, but at least they're being consistent with it.
They are, both sides. That's all you can ask for. So Watson back. He's standing on the back end of the Chiefs logo. Fisher
got to watch that pivot foot a little bit.
They called him last time for that. Wally will take it here, going to try and drive. People all over him. Good defense by Mbai. Lets it fly by Brandis. Back to Mbai. And up to McCray ball. Outside to Riley. He takes a three look, and it's a beautiful shot, and it's in. And Sequoia is going to take a timeout here. Full one. See what they can figure out here on defense as the lead is slipping just a little bit.
Yeah, Sequoia watched that big lead vanish into 19. Maybe not necessarily panic time yet, but Sequoia going to have to come up with a new strategy. Johns Creek has definitely tightened up on that perimeter defense, and the shots just not falling for the Sequoia Chiefs as Johns Creek has really shifted that defensive focus to Aiden Watson, leaning on him a lot in the paint, not allowing him to get clean looks at the basket, and that's been pretty effective. Wally really going to is definitely going to have to step up. He's at 12 points already, and he's not far off from his 19-point-a-game average, but they're going to need all of those points if they're going to keep Johns Creek at arm's length, because Johns Creek has really come out of the locker room with their hair on fire, doing a fantastic job and building some momentum here in the third quarter.
Wally 2 from 4 from the three-point line, so 50% so far tonight. Of course, not a lot of shots to bang that off of, but so far good for him. Fisher inbounds this up to Keener and then back up to Watson. Watson dishes it back outside for Harris. Underneath for Fisher. Good defense by Johns Creek here in the second half. Out to Andrews, runs by and by. Dishes it back outside to Fisher, and then back where it began with Keener. Tries to set something up here. Harris, back to Keener. Working one-on-one against Riley. Back out to the opposite end to Watson. Watson tries to drive against Mbai. Mbai working him really well so far in this one. Out to Fisher. Mid-range two, and it's good. Good shot by Fisher on the run.
And that's part of the game that the Sequoia Chiefs offense has been missing. It went MIA in the second quarter and part of the third quarter is that inside perimeter high post game from Fisher Mitchell. He can knock him down from out there.
Mbai tries one of his own. It doesn't work. Batted up. Wally's going to bring the rebound down. Lots of contact there, and the ball will go back. And that was a loose ball foul there committed by Brandis. That's his second of the game, or his third of the game, excuse me.
That's his fourth.
Oh, wow.
Brandis going to have to chill out. A whole lot of basketball left to play. We'd hate to see somebody foul out.
No kidding.
Before the fourth quarter even starts.
This one brought up by Nick Lee, the senior. And another attempt for Fisher. Same spot almost. Just off of him. Wally couldn't find the rebound there. It goes the other way. And look out. Good defense by Fisher. That pass was intended for Temple. They're working back the other way to Keener. Wally, 3 from the opposite end, and it's in. 3 for 5 from 3.
Will, I want to talk about that for just a second. You want to talk about instincts in a basketball player. Fisher knew he got beat, so he was looking for the overhead pass, found it, and was able to convert it into a three-point play for Wally.
Ball tries his own. Contact on the other end by Wally. Hit the shooting hand. Doesn't like the call, but he'll go to the line for 3.
Wally in foul trouble. That's his third. That'd be huge for Sequoia to lose Dylan Wally.
Coach Carden going over to talk with him here. Of course, the lead still is 24 points with just under 3 minutes here to go. First free throw, no good. So the foul turns out to work out.
You know, it seems kind of odd getting worked up about Sequoia only having a 24-point lead, but they came out of the gate with a 37-point first quarter, and they've really kind of mellowed out. That first quarter might be enough to carry them, but you'd like to see them finish strong down the stretch here.
Obviously don't want to look ahead to Friday's game. We'll get into that in just a little bit here. It's a big one, though. Fisher gets this one underneath, working against a big man as well. That was number 34, Aiden Temple. Foul on the floor.
Temple going to pick up his first of the night.
And now we will have a substitution. Preston Parker is going to come in for Wally, who's in a little bit of foul trouble, as you mentioned. And Ethan Wayner will check into the game for Brandeis.
The Sequoia Chiefs offense is a lot better when they can strike really fast. If the offensive possession has to continue.
Didn't hear what was said there. They yelled something over to the score table, but they're going to redo it here. Nickley is the inbounder. A shot here, and it's hammered home from Kyle Keener.
Like I was just saying, Will, the Sequoia Chiefs team is most dangerous off the first or second pass. If they have to keep dribbling, they're not going to have a successful possession, and that was one of the things that last week in practice Coach Carden was trying to work on with these guys, saying, hey, you guys are over-dribbling. We need to strike quickly. If you catch the ball, you might not even have to dribble. Just pull up a shot or get rid of it, because one of the things that this team has a tendency to do is over-dribble the basketball. 2 or 3 dribbles one way, 2 or 3 dribbles back the other way, and now any chance you had at opening up a shot is gone. So Sequoia is doing a much better job off the first or second pass, putting up a shot, and we see that here as once they shift the defense just a little bit, fire up a shot, they can sink these 3-pointers. So Sequoia doing a good job here of keeping Johns Creek at arm's length, but you still get the feeling that they're not quite out of the woods yet.
We'll send you back down to the floor here for a little bit more action. 2 minutes 33 left in the third. This one inbounded to Mbai. One-on-one with Watson. Back under to Riley. Riley matching up against Parker. Ball matching up against Keener. Fisher working the inside as the center. Mbai's going to try a long three. Doesn't fall. And that one was Parker, but it got caught up in Johns Creek hands. Mbai's going to try another one. He goes up one-on-one, and that one doesn't work. Fisher with the rebound. Lots of contact inside between Mbai and Ball.
Fisher got to be careful with them elbows.
No doubt about that. Andrews tries to take it underneath against Aiden Temple there, who's been playing center for the most part. Haven't seen much of Gibson here in the second half.
Watson, a nice job there to draw the foul on the baseline.
So that'll be Temple's second foul. Lee will inbound it here. Looks Parker's way. He's got it right at the top of the key. Absolutely asleep was Ethan Wayner, and that's a wide open three, and it is in.
Wayner has not made many mistakes this game. That was a big mental lapse there, allowing Parker to get open.
Wayner feeds it to Mbai. Great move by Mbai, and he puts it up and in to respond. Nick Lee will take it on the opposite end. McCray Ball matched up against him. Eric Fisher matched up against Temple so far. Great move. Wow, look at the moves by number 10, Kyle Keener. Put him on skates for 2.
Spin cycle there by Keener. A nice move in the paint to finish that one off and walk this one back out to a 28-point lead.
This one dished out to Aiden Temple, and it's short. Mbai gets the rebound. Called his name a lot so far. A highly contested shot, close but not in. Ball tries another one, not in.
Watson got to be careful.
Back under to Temple, not in. Johns Creek working the rebounds. Ball tries it, and it finally falls in for Johns Creek as they got just a few of their own rebounds. Lee works it back up the opposite end. Fisher back to the other side. Keener tries a long three, just misses. Mbai will get it, and we've got a stoppage in play here. I didn't see who the foul was on there, but it was on Johns Creek.
I believe that was number 10 on Johns Creek that got called for the foul.
So Mbai. So I believe that's his first foul of the game. Or his second.
It's his second, but more importantly, it puts Sequoia in the bonus here at the end of the third quarter.
Big key there. So to the line is Keener. And that one's perfect. So the score is 69-42, a 27-point lead for the Chiefs. So they've had a little bit of resurgence here. As we mentioned, they had a 37-point fourth quarter. It was 37-9.
Was that a technical foul?
I certainly didn't think so, but it looks like it was. As yes,
and
I suppose
yeah,
it
was a technical foul. I didn't even see him call it, but Sequoia shoots 2 and gets the ball back. That's huge.
Something must have been said. Obviously, from our vantage point, we don't get to hear everything that's said. Probably
for the
better.
best.
Yep, you're reading my mind there, partner. This one's brought up and handed off to Mitchell. Or excuse me, that's Matthew Trainer. Dish back out to Keener. Really kind of been a star so far in this one. After Watson was in the first one, Lee had a wide open look, didn't take it. Back out to Watson, as we mentioned.
Sequoia taking their...
And by there, poked it out of bounds.
Sequoia taking their time on offense. I know they're maybe trying to bleed clock there a little bit, but like we said earlier, Will, this offense, the scoring chance goes down the longer they hold on to the ball in the scoring court.
Watson inbounds it over to Keener. And they're just going to try and take this one down as much as they can before they put up a shot. As we mentioned, only 20 seconds left. You see that at the bottom of your screen here. That one back out to Keener, calling out some orders here. We're within 10 seconds now. Works the basket, big drive, and that's denied.
Big free throws here for Keener. 8.5 seconds left. If he sinks both of them, we go to a 6-minute clock in the fourth quarter.
Similar situation to what we were in last time. It was 29 points at the end of the third in the last game, so we didn't get that running clock, but this one hits home 2 of them, and it's a big deal. First one falls off the front of the rim and in. Lee checks back in. Wally back out. And the second one falls through, so unless Johns Creek can put up a score here with 8 seconds left, we'll have a running clock here in the fourth quarter.
They'll shave 2 minutes off of it.
Keener checks out of the game here. Brought in is Jalen Doyle. Wayner trying to set something up under to Riley. Riley dishes it back out to Andrews. 3 seconds left, 2. He's going to try and put up a long 3, and it's off the rim. If it would have fallen, it would have been an amazing shot, but it's 42-72 here in the third quarter as we're getting set for the fourth quarter here. 30-point lead, as you mentioned. We'll have a running clock as we bring you back inside the broadcast booth. I'm Will Cooper, joined alongside Chase Schaefer. Thank you for joining us tonight. And it's been a great game so far. Both games really going Sequoia's way, and for Sequoia, just put the exclamation point on this one.
Yeah, it looks like that first quarter is going to be enough to carry them. The referees already look over to the score table and tell them take 2 minutes off of it. A 30-point lead here. That first half by Sequoia was incredible, and they've done a good job of quietly building on that lead since then. I know we got caught up in the theatrics of that first quarter where they just could not miss left, right, or middle. All the shots were dropping. Aiden Watson had that exclamation point dunk, and the boys are doing a fantastic job here tonight from the War Lodge as they are on top by 30 points. We'll shave 2 minutes off the clock here going into the fourth quarter, but you know, if you're Coach Carden, you have to be pleased with the effort the boys have put out tonight.
Absolutely, and it's really been an effort in all 3 phases of the game so far, passing, shooting, and the defensive side as well. So very impressive for them. We'll send you back down to the hardwood here for the final quarter of action for tonight's game.
You know, Will, more importantly, too, this is big for region implications. If for some reason Creekview falls in their next game, Sequoia will have that 4th seed in the region and be entering into postseason play.
This one taken up by Alexander and then dished back out to Wayner with a great shot. No give up in this Johns Creek team. That was a good 3. And right you are, we'll talk about Friday night's game here at the War Lodge. And this one brought back out to Watson and then back under to Lee. A few backups in now here. Senior Jalen Doyle, we got to talk to him at halftime of the girls' game. Back out to Watson, and that one's going to be poked back out, and it was touched by a Johns Creek player, so that one will remain possession for Sequoia.
That's been a good defensive matchup here in the second half where Johns Creek is in by on Watson.
3 here, and that one is hammered home by Connor Harris. Johns Creek working up the opposite end. Good defense here from Doyle up underneath and almost blocked, but found a way to get in. Watson was right there. Temple puts it in.
Great job by Temple getting to that basket with authority, knowing that Watson was coming right behind him to try and smack that one away.
Connor Harris handed back off to Trainer. This one back to Doyle. and then back off to Lee. Same rotation as last time. Trainer's going to touch it here. Works on the inside. Going to draw a foul. Really two people they could call it on. We'll see who they decide it's against, and they call it against number 13.
You know, we mentioned this about the girls team earlier, Will, but the Sequoia boys team also a very young team as well, really losing 3 key pieces, Watson, Doyle, and Lee. But they've got Dylan Wally coming back, Fisher Mitchell coming back, Kyle Keener coming back. They got Harris returning, Parker, he's only a sophomore. You got 2 more years of him. So, you know, again, if you're Coach Carden, you have to be feeling optimistic about the direction this program's headed. No
doubt about it, including the young man at the line, Matthew Trainer, as he's going to try and make this a 30-point game once again. And that one falls through, so it's a 30-point lead again for the Chiefs with 4 minutes and 38 left to go. Once again, a little bit of a shortened final period here due to the 30-point advantage for the Chiefs in this one. And the inbound here, this one given to Wayner. He'll work it up the side as he's matched one-on-one against Keener. Wally back in the game here. This one driven by Temple, and it finds a way in, so that's a good bucket for him. Back up. Keener back over to Trainer. Back under to Trainer on the baseline back. Good work there by Harris and Trainer working together. Watson tries. Lots of contact underneath the rim for Trainer, but it finds a way to fall out. Trainer gets it back. Watson has a look if he wants it, but he's going to try and take a little bit of clock off here. And he's going to retain possession of it at the top of the key. And he dishes it back out to the opposite end for Keener. Lots of time running off the clock here. 3 attempt from Harris, and that one rattles in.
Harris, a pretty big night. That's his 16th point, and Sequoia hits the 80 mark here in the last half of the 4th quarter.
And Bai gets the ball. Back under to Wayner. He'll take it to the opposite end, back over to Temple. Temple try and drive inside, meets a couple of Chiefs. That's not going to work, and maybe brought up to the opposite end. Shot up, and no good. Rebound by Connor Harris.
We've said this already, but Wayner having a fantastic game. I really like his style of play. He's given 100% effort on every single play that he's out on the floor. Running as fast as he can, setting picks, doing a fantastic job as Wayner.
Wally put the shot up, and it was no good. And then he will be called for a blocking foul on the opposite end. That will be his 4th of the night. And speaking of looking at the scoreboard, you look at 17, 16, 15, 14 for the top 3 scorers on the, or top 4 scorers on the floor right now, excuse me. That's Aiden Watson, Connor Harris, Dylan Wally, and then all the way down to number 10, Kyle Keener on the floor. Number 31, Matthew Trainer as well has 3 points. One of those, or excuse me, all 3 of those coming from the 3-point line.
Harris having a really big night for the Chiefs too. He's sunk a couple of key threes to keep this scrappy Johns Creek team at bay.
Aiden Watson will check out of the game. Preston Parker will take his place with 3 minutes remaining here, even 30-point score. That bucket is up and in. So it'll be a 29-point lead as we've got some substitutions coming in.
That's Quablaw that's going to check in for Johns Creek.
He will be replacing Mbai. Mbai, the senior, 1 of 2 on that team. David Alexander, the power forward, the other one. A 3 look here, and that one is hammered home. Wow, Connor Gillette. First time we've called his name tonight as he checks in, and he opens it up with a 3.
Big 3 off the bench there by Connor.
Working against number 13, and that one won't fall. Back to the opposite end. Trainer's going to try and take it underneath the net, and he does. Works a great game against Wayner, and Wayner will bring it back out the other side. Going to try and set something up here, and it's going to be brought back out to Wayner on the other end, and that pass errant going nowhere. Sequoia's going to take back over.
Go back to that last possession for a moment. A really, really pretty drive to the basket by Matthew Trainer. And if anybody knows anything about putting together some really, really nice drives, it's definitely that young man, a multi-sport athlete who we talk about in more than one broadcast.
Yeah, no doubt about it, as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth here. Yeah, you know, the other thing, too, is that the Sequoia faithful out there, Connor Gillette, also had a chance at quarterback as well. Both these guys, dual sport guys. That's the other thing. You know, we mentioned in the girls' game, we talked a lot about Cherokee County sports and how you see these teams doing that back and forth. One thing that you see a lot of in Cherokee County is dual sport athletes. And that's one of the things is that if you become a fan of one of these teams because you have a student playing somewhere, or maybe you're a particular fan of a particular sport, if you decide to get involved with these other sports, whether it be baseball, basketball, wrestling, you will see somebody or a name that you recognize guaranteed on one of these. Whether you're going from football to baseball, baseball to basketball, basketball to football, any of those, you're going to see somebody you know, and that's what makes this exciting.
So speaking of exciting news, you know, the boys also have another home game Friday night where they'll be taking on Centennial. Will Cooper, you'll be joining me in the booth for that game as well.
Yes, sir. We got it for you. So we'll be excited to bring that to you Friday night, depending on the implications of the Creekview game. That could loom large. Centennial, one of the best teams and leading the region so far. And, wow, a great shot from Connor Gillette. He's come out and really caught on fire. 5 points for him from the mid-range jumper.
Wonder if Sequoia can hit the century mark here tonight. They're only 13 away with 2 minutes left.
Let's see. That's going to help. Preston Parker takes it up the other end. Working one-on-one, and he's going to draw a foul.
I liked the stutter step there. He gave that stutter step just for a moment and then drove back, and by the time the defender could catch himself and head to the basket, he ran right into Parker, and that's going to send Parker to the nail for 2.
Preston Parker with 8 points so far in the game. The only other 2 men on the floor with any points are the 2 quarterbacks. And the first free throw a miss. Looks like Sequoia will be sending in a few more fresh legs here on the substitution. Checking into the game, Brandon Dondeville.
Good to see some fresh faces here. Look at the future of the Sequoia Chiefs program and what they've got to look forward to in the next couple of years.
Number 21 checks into the game as well. I don't have him listed on my roster here. So we'll try and get a name here for you as Johns Creek brings it up the opposite end here. Dishes it back out to David Alexander, and that three's not going to fall. Good open end there on the other side by Tyson Darby. Darby dishes it out to Galvin. Galvin double clutches, and it's going to fall. And it'll be Johns Creek ball.
You know, I know Sequoia's up by 37 right now, but the energy coming off the bench as the starters have come off, every time there's a possibility of a shot even going up, the whole bench stands up. So a great job and a great atmosphere for this team.
No doubt about it. Really good shot in space by number 11 out there. Ty Holmes. Good ball movement here by Sequoia from the young men. Number 21 working on the near side. That shot is up, and it falls. And the Sequoia bench erupts as they hit the 90-point mark.
I think that's Nolan Pollard, Will. That's who I've got listed on another roster over here.
Nolan Pollard, all right. So my apologies to him. Didn't get a chance to find that.
I think that's him. Don't quote me on that.
All right. Over to Galvin here. And back to Pollard. Connor Gillette here going to take it. And that shot is up, and it's in! 93-56.
Sequoia, call off the dogs, man. Call off the dogs. It's getting out of hand.
Closing in on that 40-point mark. Johns Creek trying to work it here. A three, and that one will fall for Caleb Riley. So a good shot. Lots of fight left in Johns Creek as they approach 60 points here.
The bench trying to cheer the boys on, telling them to go. 10 seconds left. They want that 100-piece. Don't think they're going to get it, but the bench really, really wants it.
Pollard trying to work, and that one's going to bounce outside. 2.2 seconds left on the clock. Coach Carden still coaching just as hard as you would expect him to. Never takes a break. Gillette will inbound this. And they're just going to run out the clock and be content with the 93-59 final score here at the War Lodge. What a game for the Sequoia boys as they hold on to the 4th spot in Region 7-6A.
You know, that was huge, Will. The bench over here absolutely disheveled that they didn't get a shot at getting 100 points, but man, they got close with 93, a la that 37-point first quarter, and towards the back half of the second half of the game, they really turned on again, and from some unusual suspects. You know, they brought in the starters early on at the beginning of the 4th quarter. We got a short 4th quarter as they dropped it down to 6 minutes because Sequoia was already up by 30, but what a fantastic game for the Chiefs. You have to feel confident about the direction the team is heading. going into that final home game of the year Friday against Centennial and ultimately postseason play if the cards fall.
And you always have to feel good when your home team gets to break out the backup roster there, knows you're doing something right, getting the kids a chance to play and get some experience here on the hardwood at the War Lodge, which is such an amazing atmosphere in beautiful Hickory Flat in Cherokee County as well.
Yeah, what a trip to the Woodshed here. We're going to go ahead and close this one out, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank Will Cooper so much for joining us in the booth. We did a fantastic job tonight, Will, I hope, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I want to give a few shout-outs before we sign off. I want to go ahead and thank Coach Mann and his AV kids for doing a fantastic job here with Chiefs TV. Shout out to our cameraman, Ian. Ian, you do a fantastic job, bud. Keep up the good work, and you're doing great, man. We really appreciate all the hard work and all the effort that you put into coming to these games and making sure everybody has a good viewing experience. I want to thank all of you for watching at home on Chiefs TV. We know everybody can't be out to the game this year because of COVID and all that. So we really like putting this on for you so you can see your athletes that you cheer for play every single game or every game that we're able to put on. Thanks to WLJA for letting Will come off the porch. You guys do a lot for Cherokee County football, and we really appreciate that, and you do a fantastic job. Will, you and Dave and Coach Art that come out occasionally to Sequoia and call a football game for us. Thank you to all the volunteers. Thank you for all our sponsors. Thank you for the parents who worked the concession stand all year, and we will see you back Friday night here at the War Lodge for the regular season finale for the Sequoia High School boys. That'll be at 7:30 as they take on Centennial for the last game of the regular season. Once again, I'm Chase Schaefer, and joining me in the booth tonight was Will Cooper. We thank you all for joining us, and we'll sign off for the evening here from the War Lodge, where your final score, the Chiefs 93, Johns Creek 59.
Yeah, there you go.